Here to keep the chase going, share information, spread unity, preserve our heritage and our culture. We're trying to achieve something that you just can't catch. We're always trying to find a better way, trying to make better dogs. That's what Dixie Doggers Podcast is. That's who we are.
This episode is brought to you by Rankin Ranch 38 Cattle Company. Marc Rankin specializes in Brahma and Brahma Cross cattle in Oglethorpe County, Georgia. You can contact him at 407-832-2077. 407-832-2077. This episode is also brought to you by Phil Wilson of UC Hunting Properties. If you're buying or selling land, farms, or hunting property, these folks know land. You can contact him at 678-791-3483, 678-791-3483, or visit his website down below in the description.
All right, everybody. Nate and Joey back down here doing a little podcasting.
Yes, indeed.
Down there at the Dixie Dogger the doghouse is what it is. I feel like I've been under the doghouse. My throat's sore, my head stopped up. It could be from the cigars and the cheap beer all weekend, but it could be a head cold. I mean, you never know.
He's no doctor.
Yeah, no doctor at all. I'll play one on TV. But tonight we have the most famous hog dogger in the world with us, the best guest that you could ever get, the original OG, the original celebrity hog dogger right here. We got Mr. Ed Barnes with us tonight. What's happening, Ed?
I think you're giving me a bit too much credit there, but
no, not enough even said. That's wrong, man. I'm telling you. So, how's the world been treating you, bud?
pretty good. I've been busy working a bunch. Haven't been doing much hog hunting.
It sounds like us. We've been doing a lot of work, and we've got to hunt a little bit, but it's been so dry up until, well, I guess yesterday and today we finally started getting a little rain. We were in Georgia at Hickory Crossings, and I think Nate got back last night, and I got in today, and I was glad to see a little bit of rain, though.
Yeah.
We wanted to, first off, thanks for joining us tonight to do this, and kind of wanted to, get out there to some of the listeners. Anybody that's listening to this, they pretty much know who you are. If they don't, then I don't know why they don't. But if you want to give the listeners kind of a rundown of who you are and what all you do, and what all you're affiliated with, and in the hog dogging world.
Well, first off, I'm not anybody special. I'm just an average dude, In 2013, I started Tusker's magazine. We started that because Bait Solid, had kind of gone by the wayside, and I thought it was something important to keep our culture going, to have a print magazine. And that kind of started to put me in the limelight, it kind of took me by surprise because that's never what I intended. Because after all I'm doing is taking people's pictures and stories and putting them in a magazine,
Yeah.
And then on, kind of the Oklahoma politics side of it, I'm the vice president of the Oklahoma Dog Hunters Association. We fight for dog hunting rights in the state of Oklahoma. We help when dogs get shot, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I'm also the president of the Oklahoma Hound Pack, which is a political action committee. So we find political guys running for office that we think will do us good. We donate them money and try to get that ball rolling. That's pretty much what I do.
That's pretty good, though. I mean, like I said, I know you're being very humble with it, but you're involved in quite a few things, and the political side of it is a huge deal. It's very important to your average everyday guy, even like you say yourself, you are, and I know you are. You're just another guy that runs dogs, but you're also a guy that runs dogs that is trying to preserve that heritage, and you work hard towards it.
Well, the thing is, we all need to do that.
Yes.
The time where we could just be guys who just ran our dogs and not be involved in politics at all, like that time is over. Like we all have to get involved, doing what we can. And like what I do, like it cuts into my hunting time quite often. But it doesn't have to be that way for everybody. But we all have to be political in this day and age if we want to survive, if we want our sport to survive.
Yeah, I have to agree with that wholeheartedly because I find myself the same way. For a long time, I was almost like a hermit. I didn't really want to talk to a lot of people. And now I find myself, I'm on a podcast and all I do is talk. But at the same time, I'm trying to get out the right information because we lost so much ground 10 years ago here in Alabama that I was like, man, we're going to lose everything if somebody doesn't start standing up and at least voicing to draw attention to it.
Yeah, I mean, we did have some pretty good victories last Tuesday. Not here in Oklahoma, we didn't really have anything on the ballot, but nationwide. So, like, I think most people should know by now. In Colorado, they were proposing a ban on big cat hunting, or actually all cat hunting. That got defeated pretty handily, which that's Colorado. Like, I really expected us to lose that.
Yep.
I think the last figures I saw, like, we won that by like 13%, which, like I say, in Colorado is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Florida, they had Proposition 2 in Florida, so Florida got, I think it's an amendment to their state constitution that provides what they call a right to hunt and fish, which is just like another safeguard. A bunch of states already have that. Oklahoma has that. You know if Alabama has that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we have the right to hunt fish. I honestly need to double check that for sure.
Yeah, you should double check that. And if you guys don't have that right, which a lot of the southern states already have it, but if you don't have that, you should start talking to some legislators and try to get it. It's usually pretty easy to get. And it's it's not a fail safe, but it's just kind of a little bit of a guard about, it kind of keeps PETA out of your backyard a little bit. And then in Arizona, there was another proposition that wasn't 100% tied to dog hunting, but it definitely would have helped dog hunters, but it did fail. And what that one was like, so if there's going to be a ballot measure, like where they're going to put something, like let's say for instance Arizona was like, we're going to put it on the ballot, should dog hunting be made illegal, or any number of things. They can't just go to 2 cities and get all their signatures, because usually in most states you have to get a shit ton of signatures to get something put on the ballot like that. So Arizona, they were trying to get a law that said they had to get X amount of signatures from every single county in the state.
Yeah. That way they don't go to a concentrated population of people who are against it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that one did fail, but I bet they tried again.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'd never thought about that. In Oklahoma, we lost our right to fight chickens kind of that way. But yeah, I'm going to try to get with some guys at the state level and see if we can't draw something like that up for Oklahoma next time.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. What'd you find out about that, Nate?
In the Alabama Constitution, the people do have a right to hunt, fish, and harvest wildlife. So there is an amendment in the Alabama Constitution.
I thought I had read it before, but I wanted to make sure 100% on that, because usually I'm not going to say usually, used to, I stayed up to par on a lot of it. Anything that was changed or new, I would read over very frequently. And in the past 4 or 5 years, I kind of just, if I hear about something, then I look at it or research it more, which is I should be doing way more of it. So that's why I wanted to make sure on that. But I was pretty sure we had the right to hunt and fish deal.
Yeah, I mean, it gets hard to keep up with all that. If anybody's interested, there's a website that's called Legiscan. I'm terrible at spelling without writing it down, but LEGISCAN. So you can go to legiscan.com and then you can pick your state. And then so I go in there pretty regularly for Oklahoma and you can search, it's searchable.
Okay.
So then I'll type in like dog hunting, some keywords kind of link to us. And then it'll throw you up all the proposed legislation that has those keywords in it. So you can kind of keep up on what your state legislature is thinking about doing, It's a really good way to keep up on it.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about that. I'm glad you brought that up because I'll definitely be looking into that. That'll damn sure help a lot. Like you said, just give you a heads up of what they're even thinking about doing there.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy. I mean, if your state has a dog hunting association, they should be doing that anyway. But if you have one, it's a good way to kind of. Because you got to find out about this. The sooner you can find out about this proposed legislation, if you can find out about it early enough, it's easier to go talk to people and try to get it defeated. If you come in to the ball game late, it's a lot tougher.
Yeah, that's been a lot of the issue I've seen here in our state is we don't know anything about it until right before they vote on it, and it's like, it's too late. Yeah,
and trying to go and join the Alabama Dog Hunters Association is a shit wreck because you'll be like,
there's several chapters that do good, but they're not close to us at all.
Yeah, they're all down south and all deer doggers. Yeah. Which I love the deer doggers, but they're not the only people that hunt with dogs.
But they're the only ones that are in an association for Alabama.
Me and you both have talked to the so-called president of our county.
We never even knew it.
Yeah, he never once mentioned it. And that one time you literally was like, I've been trying to join that, and he never mentioned it.
He never said he knew. He said, well, we had one for a long time, and that's all he said. And then I finally got in touch with 2 or 3 other guys at the state level, and they were like, well, here's the president in your county. I was like, I just talked to this guy.
Yeah, and he
acted like he had no idea what I was talking about.
Well, I mean, I will say...
that's crazy.
I don't know the guy you're talking about, but people have to get involved.
Yes.
Lots of times people will, pay their $20 membership for their state, dog hunting association, and they just kind of like wash their hands and like, okay, well, I did my part.
Mm-hmm.
So, if all these guys are working for free, nobody's getting paid. So if you don't like something or, you don't like the way it's being run, you don't have to be rude about it, but call the guy or shoot the guy an email and say, hey, I'd like to get things rolling. Like, what's something that I can do? You know?
And that's one thing we even tried that. It was like, we had a storefront and plenty of room to hold meetings and all that. And so now I've got to take a different approach to it. Like what you just said, if you don't like the way it's being run, then you got to do something different. You got to change it or at least, put a motion forward to get the ball rolling. So that's what we're going to do. That's our next step is, hey, let's do something different. We might have to have a whole nother chapter set up right here, but we're going to figure it out one way or the other. We got too many dog hunters here and there's zero structure.
I mean, really what it comes down to, at least here in Oklahoma, like I said, I'm the vice president of the Oklahoma's dog hunters. So basically and we've had it really easy the last 3, maybe 4 years. So there's not a whole lot of activity going on, but where it comes into play is having that association set up with all the connections and links and means to get a hold of everybody so that when something does pop up, we've got that part done and we're ready, to roll. But yeah, I mean, definitely if you're not happy with your representation in Alabama, reach out and do something yourself. Because like I said, every dog hunting association that I've ever had anything to do with, and I've had quite a bit to do with a bunch of them, it's just regular guys. And,
Mm-hmm.
we come home from work after working blue collar jobs all day and we're tired,
Mm-hmm.
So if more people can step in and help, I promise you, whatever, anybody listening, whatever state you're in, if you reach out to your dog hunting association and say, I want to help, what can I do? Dude, if they don't get back to you and tell you what they would like you to do, I would be totally surprised.
Yeah. And that's the thing, surprise in this one, and I'm literally not being an ass, but it's the truth, because that's how we started. And it's not, like I said, it's not the whole state. It's not the state. It's mainly the chapter that's here and that's even close to us. We are affiliated with the Geneva County, and that's 4.5 hours from us, almost to Florida.
Yeah.
Because that's the only one that's the only chapter that we could get a hold of anybody.
Have you reached out to the statewide organization?
That was who answered us.
Yeah, I talked to the secretary lady, I believe, and she gave me a list of names for the surrounding counties, because I was like, well, we can't find any information on the chapter in our county. And she's like, well, there's already one established there. You'll have to contact this guy. And I was like, oh, we already talked to him. And like I said, yeah, like, you didn't even know.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. So it's like, okay.
Yeah. So
typically the way it's set up in most states, you have a statewide organization, which is kind of the big umbrella.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they delegate, to regions or counties. Like in Oklahoma, we have 4 regions, and we've only been able to get the Northeast chapter started. Like, we can't get anybody in the other 3 regions. We split the state by 2 highways that create an X right in the middle of the state. So a lot of it falls on our state organization, but since we have a Northeast chapter, most of the activity goes on in the Northeast, which is where the Northeast and the Southeast is where most of the dog hunters are. But yeah, if you're not having, anybody, tell them, if you're not having luck with your local chapter, hit the state up.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. That's the only thing that we, because like I said, I think it's a great thing to have, to have that organization there, to be able to have at arm's length, if anything, just to be able to call upon if something happens, because we've had some issues here in our county and surrounding counties in the years past, of like, there was a little girl and her dad where they were squirrel hunting, and some guy shot their dog while it was on the tree. He just freaked out, was raising hell, and then wound up shooting their dog. And now this has been a long time ago, and they didn't really have any help. They didn't know how to approach it. But they finally contacted, I think it got a hold of somebody on the state level and talked with them. Like I said, that was years ago. But I don't know. I'd like to see it to where we could, at least have some meetings and kind of be up to date on what the new laws or bills they're trying to get passed or something.
Yeah, typically what happens is when there's not a lot going on, everything kind of slows down, and then whenever something serious pops up, then that's when everybody wants to join and start asking what they can do. But I got a phone call last week of 2 beagles shot. I get it, and I'm getting ready to get a bunch more during deer season.
Sure, it's crazy. Shouldn't even have to worry about it, but we do.
It's a different world now.
It really is. Like you said, it's in this day and time, there's politics involved, regardless whether you like it or not. Whether you're old school or whatever, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just the way it is. And like I said, I commend you for being involved so much in your area and doing all the things that you do. Because like you said, you're just everyday people doing this. Nobody's getting paid. Mm-mm. It's taking time out of your life to listen to people like me piss and moan and bitch about somebody else or about what they're doing. And, you're trying to make a change and at least keep a tradition going and together as much as you can. So we appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah, it really does take everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be different if these dog associations were bringing in so much money that they could have one or two people who like actually got paid a living with their 9 to 5 job, but that ain't happening in any state I know of.
I agree, and I think people, there's a lot of people out there that believe that they're raking in all this money.
Yeah,
and I've talked to a few, and they're like, "Well, with all the money they're making," I said, "Well, how do you figure they're making any money?"
Yeah.
If you've got to go hunt and search to find the chapter, well, there's not that many members then. So they can't be pushing that much money regardless. Like you said, it's, you don't know of anywhere that's got people on payroll for a dog hunter association, working 9 to 5.
Well, yeah, I mean, people, tend to, I hear that all the time. I've heard it with multiple dog hunting associations, like, oh, they're making so much money. There's so many dog hunters in Oklahoma or Arkansas or Alabama or wherever. Yeah. At the height of the ODHA, I think the most we ever had of current members was maybe 400 members.
Wow.
In the whole state.
In the whole state.
That's crazy.
I literally, if you'd have said that, if you'd have told me to guess, I would have said 25,000.
I wish.
No, I literally, that's what I was sitting there thinking when you were making that statement. I was like, I bet he's going to say 20,000, 25,000.
It should be.
Yeah, that's what you would think.
But I mean, it's $20 a year to join. For that $20, you also get a $2,500 life insurance policy and dismemberment policy, which we have paid. There's been some people that got paid out on it.
Wow.
But just people just won't sign up, because it kind of goes back to a long time ago. So Jeremy Sullivan was the president of the Arkansas Dog Hunters Association.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one he twisted my arm for about 2 or 3 years and got me to start an Oklahoma Dog Hunter Association. And I heard so many people, Jeremy had a good job. He's no longer, I mean, he got kind of fed up with it. He's no longer part of it. But, he had a good job, and he'd go buy a new truck, and people would start whispering, gossip. Jeremy bought a new truck. Where did he get the money to buy that truck? He got that money to buy that truck from his work,
Yeah.
He's not embezzling ADHA funds, I promise you, but people love to gossip like that. And what I think people don't understand is when they gossip like that, they're hurting every dog hunter so bad. And I don't think they realize the extent they're hurting.
I agree, because it turns you away from it.
Yeah.
I did not want any part of it. And I'll be honest with you, I started paying attention to this, like I said, after we lost our right to keep live hogs. I mean, to have live wild hogs at all. Before that passed, we could do whatever we wanted. I mean, you catch them, they're yours. We didn't have to have a travel permit, transport permit, no pen, no nothing. Once they were caught, they were domestic livestock. And then we went through, I think, a year, maybe 2 years, to where we could catch them and they couldn't leave the property they were caught on. And then after that, they had to dispatch all of them on site as soon as they're caught.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, dude, we lost so much so fast. And it's like just kicking me right in the face. And if only I would have, of course, hindsight's 20/20, but I don't know what I could have done, honestly. But I feel like I should have done more. I know I could have.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's a pretty uphill battle. We have to pick our battles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying we shouldn't fight all of them, but that'd be a pretty tough one to. I mean, in Oklahoma, the battles that we've been most successful on are battles that we can ally with the Oklahoma Cattlemen's Association, because they're so powerful in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So, and lots of times their interests and our interests coincide. So when they do, we go into it feeling pretty good. But, like that, removing wild hogs alive and stuff like that, that's not going to jive with most of our allies in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't fight it. We should try to fight it, but.
Yeah, and I agree like I said, to an extent on that. It's like, it's an uphill battle, but during that time, it literally, there was very few hog hunters at all. And it was just one of those bills that was just shoved in and passed. And like you said, by the time we knew about it, it was too late. So there was no fight at all. So I was kind of mad at myself because it's like I didn't even see it coming. I didn't pay attention. Even if at least I could have known about it and been prepared for it.
You have to get into those fights super early. When you get in late, when you get into that stuff late, all the backroom deals have already been made.
Yeah.
Everybody already knows how they're going to vote. And that's where, most dog hunting associations are around $20, $25 a year to join. What is that? Like a quarter tank of gas?
Yeah.
So where a lot of our power lies as dog hunting associations, no matter what state, is that we can show them numbers. Like these are all politicians we're dealing with, and they want to get reelected. So in politics, if you walk into your state representative's office and talk to him about an issue, he doesn't look at you as one person. He looks at you as 10 people.
Yep.
He knows that you're going to be talking to your family, your close friends, and you can probably influence 10 people. So when we walk into an office as the ODHA, if we can plop down a membership list of 400 or 500 people, they're looking at that as 4,000 or 5,000 people. When you join any state organization, that's a big part of what you're doing, is just getting your name on a list that shows we're out here and we're going to vote and we've got. So even if you don't think your state is doing anything, just being a member does something for that state. It gives them push that we don't have as just individual people.
All right. And I'm glad we got on this subject. Like I said, this wasn't even a planned deal, it's just something we started talking about. And because there's so many people out there that they need to hear this. Like it's not complicated at all to become a member. And like you said, it's a quarter, it's a case of beer. It's $20, $25, whatever.
Cheap case of beer. I mean, before we had, ODHA, I had, 3 dog hunting associations in different states that I just joined every year because it was, it was cheap and I just felt like it was my duty to do it. Arkansas Dog Hunter Association, I think it was $10 a year.
Yep.
So every year at Uncle Earl's, I'd give Jeremy my $10. I think I got a sticker. It was $10. That's a corn dog and a glass of pop and it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Now the sticker on it was like, it almost looked like a sheriff's star, didn't it? Years ago. And
I don't even remember.
Seems like it was like a blue and silver. It looked like almost like an old sheriff's star or a badge, like a 5-point star with a ring around it. Because we had them on all our trucks in Arkansas. I was just trying to remember.
Yeah, I don't remember what it looked like.
I don't know. It's been a long time. I'm getting old.
But yeah, I mean, if you don't have an association in your state, Chris Watson in Arizona, I was talking to him maybe 6 months ago or so, and he was like, we don't have one in Arizona. And I was like, start one. So he started one,
Nice.
And that's what it takes is just, guys taking the initiative to do it. But if you don't have one in your state, you don't feel like starting one, sign up to a neighboring state.
Yeah, that's definitely pretty good there. Like I said, we signed up in a chapter that's a long ways away from us, but I mean, we support them, and we're supporting our state. And whenever they have any type of hunts and stuff like that, generally we'll try to sponsor something or send them stuff. And when we had hunts, they would sponsor as well. It went hand in hand. We spent $25 a piece. So me and Nate, we got $50 in it, and Rodney's, so there's $75 we put in it. And the very first time that we went to a hog hunting competition, and we placed like 3 or 4 places on it. We got our money back for the tournament, and we actually came out to the good a couple $100 and got hats, shirts, and then they gave us hats and shirts to hand out at our tournament. So we probably got 10 times what we put in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I never won anything, and I was in Arkansas one time at a and won a tracking collar.
Wow, that's pretty good.
And I never win anything.
Yeah, well, that's us. Like, I talked so much shit on that one there. I said, I'm telling y'all, if y'all have this, I said, I'm winning everything. I said, you don't even want to see me coming, because I never win. We never win anything. And man, we rolled in there, and I think we got, the only thing we didn't get was the first place, the overall weight. But we got like longest teeth. I think we tied with Tate Morrell for longest stringer.
Yeah.
I don't know. We got 3 or 4. I don't remember what all it was. It was
I think
funny.
we placed 4th, and top 3 paid out money.
Yeah. It's like one of them deals. It was a good deal. It was fun.
Oh yeah.
And they had done it. That was the second one they done. And then this year they wound up not doing it. They didn't have the support. Yeah. I was like, dude, it was disheartening, honestly. And it's, hey, like you said, it's not their fault. Those guys are trying to put it on, but they're limited to what they can do.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get you guys to come out. We haven't set an official date, but we're doing a kind of, how they have like hunting, fishing expos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This spring we're going to do a dog hunting expo.
Oh, yeah.
And once again, that was somebody in Oklahoma who's not. I mean, they're a member of ODHA, but they're not, an officer or anything. And they contact me and they're like, "Hey, we should do this." And I'm like, "That sounds great. Let's do it." You're head to that.
No, that's a really good. I mean, because there's so many expos out there, there's none about dog hunting that I know of.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna try to do we're definitely gonna do like a coon hunt, possibly a squirrel hunt, and possibly a hog hunt. But I mean, the main be just it's going to be an expo. So we're going to try to have like a bunch of vendors. We're going to try to do like seminars, and just like a hunt for dog hunter.
That'd be nice right there. Well, you could pretty much count us in on that one if there's any way we can do it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a drive, but
I ain't worried about the drive. It's just the time.
We're gonna be there in February.
Yeah, we're gonna be there at Rusty's. You know that guy.
Yeah, I know Rusty.
Yeah, you know how he is. He's kind of weird.
I'm supposed to judge that thing.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it's not gonna be judged like a normal bay.
No, I hope not.
I need to know what the rules are if I'm gonna judge.
Hey, let's don't get into this. Let's not on the air. Not on the air.
Hey.
All weekend long, we were at Hickory Cross, and everybody's like, "Hey, that thing out there in Oklahoma." I mean, honestly, there's a lot of attention. I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "It's not going to be like this, is it?" I was like, "Well, you sound like disheartened about it." And they're like, "Well, we don't have like this style of dog." I was like, "No, trying to put together a set of rules that'll work for the style of dogs that woods dogs." And they were talking about the hogs. And which Mr. Marc and them, they have a few hogs out there that's pretty damn rough, But the general population of the hogs, they're bay pen hogs. And I told them guys, I was like, I'm gonna tell you, I said, Rusty's hogs are not gonna be like that. You're not gonna walk out there and stand in the pen with them.
No, they're gonna be caught weeks away.
Yes.
Which is how we always do it. Yeah, I mean, we bait hogs here in Oklahoma, I mean, I was introduced to it over 20 years ago, and it had been going on before I got shown it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's the way that we used to do it. Is there was going to be a bay Saturday, so anybody during the week caught any good hogs, would go drop them off. I mean, they were like a week, 2 weeks old, like that.
Abbeville.
Right.
that Abbeville Bay, the Ocmulgee Wild Hog Festival,
Yeah,
in Abbeville, Georgia, that's the way they do it. They catch the hogs like that week. You go in there and you bay them, and then when the baying's done, the hogs are gone. They they don't keep them, and it was a really, really good event, I thought. And we've got a couple of supposed to be pro pen dogs and all that, and I mean they're pro shit eaters, but we actually did really good with those dogs out there because those hogs had some spunk to them. The ones that didn't fight hard, they ran a lot, and that's part of it. We didn't. I don't think there was ever one set up hog there, one that just come out and just stood there.
Oh yeah.
And all those dogs had to work their ass off. I put it this way: I think they had 50 in the one dog. They cut it off at 50 entries so that we could run the two dog. And the two dog, I don't know, it was 100 and something. And there was only 2 10s made that whole weekend.
Yeah.
We got lucky, and one of them was ours, and the other was Cody Odom and Tadpole with their dogs. So that tells you how they are.
I really do think that and it'll ruffle a lot of feathers out there, but I think that whole Woods Dog Bay thing is the future of hog baying.
Amen.
I think that's where it's going to be in the future.
Yeah.
There's just a bigger pool of people to pull from.
Mm-hmm.
It's closer to what hog dogs actually do, and it's more entertaining to watch.
Yep. I mean, you were at the last one we done at Rusty's.
Yeah.
And I judged it, and I tried to judge it. It's so hard to judge the woods dogs the same way you would a pro pen dog. So what I would do is, if they looked out the first time, I didn't dock them, because a woods dog is going to look. If they're set down and they're bayed for a minute and a half, and then they turn out and look back to the gate or to the owner, they're looking for the bulldog or looking for some help. That's what I'm thinking,
Or they're looking. So, where I'm at, we typically bay. We don't usually bay single hogs. We bay groups of hogs, sounders of hogs. So a dog has to be aware of his surroundings, because, it doesn't happen as much now as it used to, but we still do get some hogs at rallies. So a dog will be bayed on a single sow.
Mm-hmm.
Another sow will come in and, T-bone it. So a dog can't be 100% focused on the hog in the woods.
I have to agree. Like I said, I have to agree on that. We and like you said, it's going to ruffle some feathers. There's no doubt. But at the same time, if you're only doing something one way, and that's the only thing that you do, and you don't never get out and expand your horizons, or at least try it and see if you even like it, or go watch it and see if it's entertaining, then you never know. But like you said, when we were done the woods event, or the woods class at Rusty's, he still had the other dogs there. Those dogs were the whole weekend. That's what everybody had the most fun watching, because those dogs worked their ass off.
Yeah, it's definitely more fun to watch.
And I'm not saying that they were, they're better dogs than the pro bay pen dog. I'm not saying that one dog's better than the other, by no means, because when you take a couple of those pro pen, like that hand grenade dog, you take him or Goose or Rooster or dogs like that, and when they're on, and if it's a rough hog and he's getting wild and going crazy, they can bay that hog. Hey, it's a thing of beauty. But the general consensus is they want a hog that'll sit out there and post up, and that dog can put his ass in the air and his front legs down and bark for 2 minutes or 4 or whatever. And that's the way that goes, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in that woods event, when them hogs come out of that chute, they're not running around the arena. They're running straight to meet that dog. I seen Eric Mealy's dog get T-boned and just, I'm talking about hammered. Eric looked at me. He said, "Oh my Lord!" He said, "Boy," and it was a little old Jip, and she went in there wide open, and that hog just creamed her. And that wasn't the only dog. There's a bunch of dogs. I just said Eric because I know Eric.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, but I honestly think that's going to be the future of baying.
Yeah, I know. There's been several of us. We've talked to Rusty over the years. I'm sure you have, and I know Pat and other guys about doing the woods event, or bringing the woods class back. Because when I first started going to bayings, they were still had fresh hogs, but they had some bay pen hogs as well, but they had a woods class. They had just woods dogs. They didn't have an option. It was. But I've also been told that there was people that were bringing these pro bay dogs in and passing them off as woods dogs and all that. And I was like, well, I don't know. I'm sure you can cheat in anything that you do, but when that hog comes out, he's going to have to bay it.
Yeah, and that's where it gets tricky.
Yeah,
is how do we decide what's a real woods dog? What's a real pen dog?
Mm-hmm.
And what it really, I think what kind of turned me off on it was like at Earl's, like when Jake did a woods bay,
mm-hmm.
it'd be like, for the future of the sport of hog baying in general, like there has to be some new blood comes in. And the woods bay is a great opportunity to get some guys who strictly hunt in the woods, to get them to kind of cross over and kind of, possibly move into the pro bay dog circuit.
Yeah.
So you got to give those guys some space,
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean everybody takes their C and D and E string pro dogs and puts them in the woods class,
That's right.
Stay out of it and let this new blood have their fun, and then maybe you can get their money in a couple years.
Yep. It's not hard to do that either. Marc Bannister started doing a terrier class years ago. Me and several other guys, we were bringing all them Jags all the time, and we were baying them with the big dogs, and everybody loved watching them because they're a bunch of idiots. The dogs are, and they're not big enough to even hurt the pig, so they're getting flipped and they're bouncing around and jumping and yapping. So Marc made a terrier class. So we try to make sure there's 20 to 30 that enter that every time. Well, this weekend it's the first time we've entered dogs in a while. We usually enter one or two, but we don't really compete because there's new people that are coming. There's a young girl that has a pair of dogs, and we've watched her since she started, and we tied for second. So we would have had to go to a bay off. Me and Nate looked at each other like, we're not going to bay this off. She can have second. We'll move on. We'll get third or whatever,
Yeah.
And because we've won second before. And it's not, if it's $20,000, $50,000 or something, yeah, I guess it might be a little different to some people, but to me, it's not. It's about having those new people, giving them a reason to stay.
Yeah.
Because she had a lead dog, basically. They ran two dogs and scored it individually. We only ran one. And so in the bay off, you have to run them by themselves. And she knew that dog wouldn't run by itself. I was like, well, I don't want to put it in a bad situation. And there's other people. And the reason I do that is because Cody Fritz handed Nathan a trophy one night. And it was at Hickory Crossings, probably the last time Cody Fritz was there. And he said, he came over there and handed it to Nate. He said, I don't care what they said. Your dog was the better dog tonight. And that's the first trophy you got.
Yeah.
Cody Fritz did that. And it was like, this, you can do a lot of good things and you'll get rewarded 1,000 times over, and you'll bring people in. You'll have people that want to stay. That's what made us want to stay.
Yeah, it sounds cheesy, and it is kind of cheesy, but it's not. But the youth really are the future. I mean,
Yes.
if you look at like fox pens, I don't know how it is where you're at, but like
Yeah.
in Oklahoma, Arkansas is kind of having a revival, and a lot of it is due to the ADHA.
Mm-hmm.
But
we are here too. We've had couple new ones pop up, and I mean, nice, real nice.
But in Oklahoma, like years ago, we didn't even have a single fox pen left in Oklahoma.
Really?
But when we had them, if you would go to them, it was a bunch of 70 and 80-year-old men. Like there were no kids there. And when those old guys died, fox penning in Oklahoma died with those guys because there wasn't a younger generation ready to pick it up and roll with it.
Yep, I agree with that because, like I said, we've kind of seen a resurgence. 10 years ago or so, 8 to 10 years ago, we wanted to get into it, and man, we couldn't find anything. Like I knew there was one or two pens around, but nobody talked about it or anything like that. And in the past few years, though, like I can go to a half a dozen and
really?
go. Oh yeah, I mean, and some real nice ones. And the Alabama Dog Hunter Association, those are some of the main guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they're located at. The guys that we're able to get in touch with and that talk to us. We've drove down there. We've hung out. We went and set up as vendors at their events and stuff at the hunts. And like I said, it's making a pretty good comeback. And there's a lot of young people there. I've seen a lot of guys that were in their early 20s there with their own dogs.
Yeah. It's like in Oklahoma. So I don't remember the exact name of it, but it was something to the tune of Oklahoma Wolf Hunters Association. I mean, that's what the old timers called it, was wolf hunting.
Yeah.
But, they were old guys, but there was 3 of those old guys who had money, like had serious money.
Mm-hmm.
And they funded most of the, anti-dog legislation in the state. But like I said, there wasn't a younger generation, and those guys, got old, died, got crippled, couldn't get out, and everything just kind of crumbled around them.
It's pretty tough to see it kind of just fall like that. And that's what I was kind of scared of with the hog hunting here for a while. It was like there was a few of us that done it, and then those guys kind of got out of it. It was literally just me and 1 or 2 other guys. I mean, I know there's others, but I didn't know them. I hadn't heard of them and don't know where they were. So, I mean, I'm sure there were, but I didn't see them. But at one time, I could count all of us on one hand within several counties.
Yeah, that's how it was.
Oh, did it do that with y'all too? Kind of just, kind of filtered down, then it picked back up.
Well, I wouldn't say it picked back up. I mean, when it first started around here, there wasn't very many. It kind of picked up.
Yeah,
got popular, and then as of late, like I talked to a lot of guys who hog hunted there for a while and got out, and most of them got out because they're like, it just got to be too much of a mess, like getting trespassing tickets, getting shot at, getting dogs shot, talking to the game warden all the time, and they just go, this ain't worth it,
Oh, I agree. Yeah, there's no way it's worth it. We don't have a lot of public land that we can hunt.
Yeah.
I wish we did. In a way, I think like the camaraderie, I would love to say that it would be there, but I don't know that. But most of the guys around here, we all get along.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we got a lot of public land in Oklahoma. Like I don't hunt it anymore, but I used to. But yeah, it does build camaraderie. When you go to a bay and there's guys' dogs there, it doesn't build camaraderie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know that can be aggravating. Like, I guess being like we went and hunted went on a bear hunt and seeing how a lot of those guys work together. It's one of those. It's like the nostalgia of it. I'm sitting there thinking, almost daydreaming. It's like, man, if we could all do that.
Yeah, I mean the thing is,
but we can't.
Well, I mean, hog hunting, you got to think of it like psychologically. So it draws in, like alpha males primarily,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like a macho aspect to it. So I don't expect us all to get along.
Yeah.
That's just not going to happen because that's not the kind of person hog draws in. But we could all work on it and do a little bit better.
Yeah.
You
Well, like I said, it got for a while here. It was where nobody really discussed much with each other. Everybody kind of had their own sections, and everybody stayed themselves. And then I would like to say that, once we opened this little store, and we had a lot of the local guys that hunted within 2 or 3 counties, they were coming in. Then we started having little tournaments, and then next thing you know, you would see those guys hunting together on the weekend. Now it wasn't like a big old damn, big circle jerk where everybody's having a great time. But at the same time, they weren't trying to kill each other that week.
Yeah.
So they did, it did bring a little light to it. And I think a lot of it is just because they're not exposed. Like you said, you got the macho guys. And you're right on that part. Like most of them that hog hunt, there's the macho aspect to it, the alpha male kind of deal. So, yeah, I don't think that we could all get along real good all the time.
No, I mean, we don't have that many hog hunters around the house, but pretty lucky, and most of them that we have, most of them started out on the same page as the rest of us. The ones that didn't got corrected pretty fast,
Yeah.
But there's ways to do things, and there's things that you don't do, and it's not always just pure malice. I mean, a lot of it is just like young kids who are 19, 20 just don't know any better. So when they fuck up, and do something you're not supposed to do,
Yeah.
you got to go talk to them and be like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
but you do, you knew I had this private property to hunt. You don't go talk to that owner and badmouth me and try to squeeze in,
That's exactly right.
I mean,
They should be held accountable for their actions.
yeah, but at the same time, you got to kind of teach those kids,
Yep. Because they don't know it. They don't know those unwritten rules that are there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like I said, that's why I said. I mean, it's not always just that malice. It's sometimes out of ignorance. I mean, there are jackasses out there that will do it out of spite or malice, but that's not what I'm generally talking about. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's important that we kind of teach those younger kids. And it's not all rules about don't step on my toes. A lot of it is, the ethics of dog hunting and ethics of dog care and stuff like that. And I think it's important that if you see some kid doesn't have an older guy teaching them how to do it, we at least try to not necessarily take them under your wing. I mean, you can if you want to, but if you don't feel like doing that, at least try to educate them a little bit, And that's the thing that's, I mean, if you go back even 25 or 30 years ago, that was kind of the path that anybody hunting with dogs, that's kind of what you did. I mean, at least where I'm at, like if you didn't grow up doing it and it was something you wanted to get involved with, you looked for a mentor.
Yep.
And you hunted underneath them and you learned all this stuff. And I think that's kind of started to go by the wayside.
Yeah, we've got a young guy right now that him and Nate's y'all about the same age, ain't you?
Yeah, he's a year younger than me. He's a year behind me in school.
Yeah, and like they weren't like buddy in school or none of that. I mean, they knew who each other was, and then he started wanting to get into it, and that's kind of what.
That's what I told him. I said, you be an apprentice.
Yeah,
I was like, you be my friend. I was like, but I'm going to be straight up. That's exactly what it's going to be. You're going to have to, I'm going to tell you how this goes, and Dad's going to check me, make sure I'm telling you the right shit. I was like, but if you don't listen, then you're going to have to fuck off and go do something else, because there's a lot of time and energy invested in teaching you everything we know and how to interact with landowners and teaching you the unwritten rules and how to read dogs and how to handle dogs and to say, this is the end goal I want. How do I get here? Because if you weren't, like you said, weren't raised in it saying, oh, I want long range casting bay dogs, that's a big thing to bite off to just go say, oh, I'm going to go do that. And it ain't going to happen in a year.
Yeah, if you don't even know what
it ain't going to happen in a year at all. And that's been, I think, his biggest learning curve is he just didn't realize how long it was going to take to get established at all.
Mhm.
I was like, to get a little bit of establishment, you're looking at like 5 years just to probably have enough stuff to be comfortable to say, I can go hunt this property that's mine with my
By myself,
own
yeah.
dogs by myself.
Yes, I mean, I get a lot of, questions, calls, emails, stuff like that. Like people that maybe they went on one hog hunt, or maybe they haven't even been on a hog hunt, and they're like, where I can get some good dogs. I'm like, that's not what you need to do. Like, you need to
No.
go find some older guys around you that hunt. It's like dating, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Go on some first dates with some hog hunters, and don't just latch yourself to the first guys you go hunt with. Hunt till you find some guys where you're like, I like these dudes, I like the way their dogs work. And then, you become an apprentice. You don't bring a dog. You hunt with those guys for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And then the dog will come for free,
And they did.
They'll be dogs that you want,
Yep. And that, like you said, Kyler's 23, 24 years old.
I think he's 22, 23.
And then they have another guy that's been going with us, kind of the same situation, but now he has dog experience and all that. Hell, he's nearly my age, but he's never done the hog dogging and all that. And that's exactly what he said. He said, I've listened to y'all's podcast in the past. He said, I've listened to Ed and them. He said, I want to get in here and hunt for a while and figure out if this is the way I want to hunt. And and see if that's the way I want to do things. And that's what I told him. I said, that's fine. Because normally I don't have many people around us that hunt with us continuously. We go on hunts with other people, but as far as in our group, it's me, Nate, and Rodney. Yeah. Well, now we got Kyler and Jesse. They go with us all the time. And like you said, the dogs come free. And they'll get the best ones that I have that I can hand to them. I promise.
Because you're going to have to hunt with them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We had those little weed eater string puppies out the other day, and when we turned them loose, they have never seen a pig. We ain't done nothing with them. I said, well, because like they're feral, and they were hunting so much at the house, we finally had to catch them. Nate had to catch them with a coon trap, like not a coon cuff, but a foothold trap. We had to bait them some bitches to catch them anyway. So we take them out. They go 350 something yards. They start baying. They get in a sounder. They break it up. Of course, like I said, they don't know what they're doing. We lose connection over a mile. They stay gone for 2.5 to 3 hours. They finally hunt their way back, and they come and load up in the truck. I looked at him. I was like, well, those are your pups there. So you better stay in the woods. All I can tell you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's one of the cool things about hog hunting is.
Yeah.
So like if you can't buy your way in.
Yep.
I don't care how deep your pockets are, you can't buy your way. Like if I've got unlimited funds and I want to go buy 2 of the best coon dogs in the country, I can do it.
Yes. And
overnight I can have damn good dogs. I can do the same thing with squirrel dogs, bird dogs.
Yep.
You cannot do it with hog dogs. It's impossible. I've seen guys try. I've seen guys spend insane amounts of money.
Oh yeah.
It does not work out.
I've never thought of it like that, but that's like I'm sitting here smiling like hell because that's the truth. Oh, yeah. You can't be a wannabe hog hunter and be excellent. Be like, I'm a hog hunter.
And that's the thing I like about Kyler is he's like, I think the hog hunting's cool. He's like, but even if I don't end up doing that, he's like, I'm fine with coon hunting. He's like, I just like hunting with dogs. Like he's got a young red bone. He got 2 of them. Somebody had traded him a gun for. He's like, I don't know if they're worth the piss. He's like, if they're deer dogs, I'll sell them to somebody that runs deer dogs. He's like, I just like taking them hunting. And he actually ended up finding a used dog system. So now he's got him a little tracking system. And his in-laws have like the small piece of property. And he was sending me videos today. He was just taking them out exercising. He's like, they're out hunting. He was like, they don't know what they're doing. He was like, but I just couldn't sit them. I was like, hey, it's better than them sitting at the house.
Yep.
I was like, and you ain't going and trespassing. You ain't going and tearing somebody else's stuff up. You're minding and taking care of your dogs.
Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do. I mean, as long as if he's feeding them, he can hunt them, he can push them. That's the biggest problem people have is they don't hunt their dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm guilty of it.
They want to buy dogs. And if you just hunt the shit you got, you'll probably be okay. And I'm one of those guys. I've got to have another dog every damn week for some reason. I don't even want it.
I'm not.
Joey Ryder's addicted.
I'm talking about, dude, I was like, I'm getting rid of some dogs this
That new
weekend.
dog feeling, he can't shake it.
I said, I'm getting rid of some dogs this weekend. I got rid of 2 dogs. I brought 3 puppies home. How's that work? That's dog peddling math right
Thank
there.
you, Ed and Pat, or Jake and Pat.
Yeah, Jake and Pat's pups. They came with ours. So I hope they hurry up and come get them, or we're gonna bring them to them or something. If not, they're gonna be thrown out in the mix and be hunted.
Yeah.
What are they?
Cuban curs, 100% full-blooded Cuban curs.
Joey,
Huh?
well, I said I was going to talk some shit on you, but
Go ahead.
I stopped myself because we're kind of similar.
You already know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I like that. I like that weird shit. Like, I don't want to do it. Like
that in an Airedale, or that in a wolfhound, or cross that son of a bitch to a walker dog. I don't know.
Breed it to a foxhound.
Yeah, I got a foxhound that'll move pretty good.
You'd have the strangest acting and looking, hardest hunting dog ever.
Them dogs are wired 440, bro.
Yeah.
They're like a damn. They're like a bird dog, but long range.
what is a Cuban cur? I know it's got bird
Village dog.
Nobody knows. Now this
That's
is
what
what
we were told.
Okay, this is what a friend of ours has told us. I've talked to several different guys about it, and they're like, okay, the bird dog, the pointer, and some greyhound, and then there's some cur dog. That's what I was told by 2 different guys. I was like, okay, sounds good. But if you look at them, that's literally what they look like a bird dog greyhound or bird dog cur mix of some kind.
They all got ticking or big patches.
Yeah, they're all like, the majority of them are black and white, patchwork, and they look like an English pointer color. And then they'll have a lot of ticking on them, a lot of little spots.
A lot of them have real gayed tails.
Oh yeah, they got tails curled all the way, damn near doubled.
Like Coca, the 3/4 Cuban we got, and she's a quarter bulldog. She's like a reddish tan spots and ticking, but her tail literally is a full curl, and that curl lays on her back.
Yeah, that's something.
They're really long dogs too. I've noticed that they're very long proportionately.
Yeah, I'm really anxious to see what they do.
Yeah,
and how it works out.
I've only seen a couple of them. Used to be a guy, a younger. His name was Nick. I can't remember his last name, but he came to Downsville a couple times with some Cuban curs, and they did good in the bait pen.
Really?
And he said they'd been in a bait pen, and they did pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I think he was from either Georgia or Florida. I can't remember. I can't remember.
Seems like there are a lot of them on the East Coast, right? Georgia and Florida, up through South Carolina. But there's a lot of them, like Miami, that down deep South Florida. A lot of guys run those dogs.
Yeah.
And they have really good luck with them. I've never talked to anybody that said, man, I had to cull this one, or I've had a bad one. Now, I'll probably get that. I'll probably have those shitty ones.
I've had some people say they were a little too long range for them.
Yeah.
They
don't get too long range for me.
Yeah, I was about to say, but I don't know how much of an issue that actually is.
If you put them in the hogs, you ain't got to go that far.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wonder how old that breed is.
I don't know. I
actually like established in Cuba.
Yeah.
Or was it in?
That's all I could find on it.
And I wonder if it was influenced by any sort of like native or Spanish or African dogs imported and brought just through trade and export.
I looked it up a while ago to see what all they had on it, and there was not much on it at all.
They have hogs in Cuba?
I guess so. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I really don't. Like I said, you can find a few things on it, but like I said, there's just not a lot of not a lot of solid information on it. So that's one reason why the people I talk to are Cubans. And asked, hey, what do you know about this, or what about this, what about that? And that's all, and I'm just going by what they told me. And like you said, or like Nate was saying, they're long range, like they just keep going and hunting. They just go and go. And another thing I was told is that they're feral. They're like a wild village dog. And like the guy that sent these, Alex from the Best Camo, he sent me a video, and he was talking to his female, and she was growling the whole time. He was like, see, he said, they're crazy. I was like, yeah. I said, that's my kind of dog.
Yeah, like these puppies, the only one that really wants to even be like picked up and played with is the male, and he's still not real sure about it.
Yeah.
I think he wants to play fight as much as he wants petting. The two females, they're kind of like, I don't know. I don't know about all this.
Yeah, ain't no doubt. But like I said, I've been looking. I'm looking right now. I'm on my phone on Google, and there's just, there's not shit on them. I'll have to do some more in-depth search, of course, but you know how that goes. But I would really like to talk to some people who have been consistently breeding them for a long time, not somebody who's had them just a few years, and sit down and talk.
That's who you need to get on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's anybody out there, hit up Joey.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I know Alex has some history with him.
Yeah, maybe Alex has some older family members or something that could even shed him.
Alex is probably old as shit too.
He looks like hell.
He looks like shit. We love you, Alex, but you look like hell, brother. No, man. We appreciate the puppy though. We're damn sure gonna put it through the paces. Maybe it won't. Our dogs won't make it bad, mess it all up. So, but they're good looking dogs. The way they're built. Fuck,
yeah,
man,
these are black and white. I really like the black and white ones. They're real nice looking.
You like black women.
Guilty.
Yeah.
I told my wife, I was like, well, you better be glad you're built like a black lady, even though you're white.
Oh, my God. We're getting way off kilter here, boys. So
tell her.
Go ahead.
I said, you can't tell her that.
She thought it was pretty funny. Hey, I'm real dark complected. I've told her one time, I was like, well, the only reason why you like me, I said, is because I'm dark enough to tickle your fancy, but light enough to bring home.
Shit. Oh, my God. I tell you that. And, that's the thing about Nate's wife, Ella. She goes to, like, some of the hog bays with us. And
she used to be very, very, I guess you would say prissy,
Prim and proper.
Yeah, prim and proper. And you've met my father. There was no opportunity. I'm rough. Yeah. And so I've corrupted her. And I think she's as rough as me now.
Oh, yeah. She'll stab the shit out of a hog. She'll kick them. She'll whoop a dog's ass. Whatever it takes. We'll get shit done. I looked up and got a great daughter-in-law there. And got a new daughter-in-law last week, so Luke got married, so now I got another daughter-in-law.
And she's rough too. She don't cut no slack.
No. So we're gonna have a whole family of just hog hunters. Maybe I can trick them all into just taking care of the dogs for me. Ed, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a possibility.
No, I don't. Shit. They'd probably poison the son of bitches. Knowing them, so. But we were talking about the doing that weird stuff with the breedings and stuff with these dogs. What breed would you say that would be if you had to just pick one? Just one.
For
hog hunting only. Or one that you despise.
Yeah, that was my question. What's your least favorite breed of dog used in hog hunting?
My least favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your favorite and then your least favorite. And then I want to know Dad's as well. I don't know yours. So you go first, Mr. Ed.
And they're probably the best dog to hog hunt with, but I hate them.
What is it?
So it's yellow dogs.
Oh.
I had questions with the same dog. My least favorite and the most successful.
Oh God.
Yep.
I don't know. I just got a thing against yellow dogs.
I
I think
did.
part of it. I think part of it's because they're so rough, and I don't like a rough dog.
Yeah.
But if some dude just said, "What breed do I get?" I just want to catch pigs. I don't care. Do it in style. I just want numbers of pigs caught. Like, and he asked me what dog should I get, I would tell him to get you.
Yeah. I have to wholeheartedly agree both ways. And the reason is, up until I got a dog from Marc Dibble named Charlie, I despised a yellow dog. Despised them. I was handed some great dogs that were, phenomenal blackmouth curs, and I gave them away. They stayed on the yard for a week or two. I'm like, look, y'all can I don't want that son of a bitch. Just get it away from me. And dogs that were finished dogs that could do whatever you needed to do. If you call dogs finished, I don't really have finished dogs, but these were hog dogs. And anyway, then I got Charlie, and he changed my mind. And then we had a couple of other yellow dogs in between that they just didn't fit the bill. And like you said, they were rough, which we ran a lot of rough dogs.
Yeah. I'm very pro rough dog.
Yeah,
my favorite would be the American Pit Bull Terrier.
Yeah, without a doubt.
But I am pro rough dog.
But like if you had to have one that's going to get out, beat the bushes, and hunt, do all of it, yeah, I'm the same way. But now I've got a yard full of yellow dogs. No, but they're not all blackmouth curs.
Yeah.
There's some of them are Kimmer curs. Some of them have some Catahoula. Now we got some crosses. Basically,
really like their crosses.
Yeah. Now basically what we're doing is trying to make our own yellow dog. It's still a yellow dog, but you don't know what all is in it.
I'm gonna breed all the color up once, and I'm gonna let Dad keep all the yellow ones.
Yeah.
See, there's a lot of confusion there.
Yeah.
So when I say yellow dog, I'm talking about the yellow blackmouth cur.
Yes, blackmouth cur. Yep.
Which is a breed, not a color. Like,
yeah,
they sometimes come in brindle. They sometimes come in.
That's exactly right.
In black.
They can
yellow.
There's even been those blue colored ones.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of confusion there. So this guy that I hunt with a lot, Tanner, we've hunted together for 10 years. His dogs are, it's a line of dogs, but they're a crossed up line of dogs. It's a lot of crossing that has been line bred by multiple people for a lot of years. And probably half of them come out yellow. So people will go with us that know me, and then Tanner will turn loose like 2 or 3 yellow dogs, and they'll be like, "I thought you hated yellow dogs." I'm like, "Those are not yellow dogs. Like, they're not black curs. They're just yellow."
Yeah.
You know?
That shit's funny.
And Tanner always gives me shit because he's like, "You are so bigoted against yellow dogs that you can't even remember the names of my yellow dogs." And it's kind of true. Like, I just he's got some yellow dogs that are phenomenal dogs. Top 10 dogs I've ever seen in my whole life, and I can never remember their name. So I do kind of block. But yeah, I think some people out there need to learn the difference.
Yeah,
between a dog that's yellow and a yellow dog.
We bred a crossed up Catahoula, and I use that term lightly. It's mostly Catahoula with just a little bit of something way back in there. I don't even know. To a full-blooded blackmouth cur. And we had all brindle dogs and 1 yellow dog.
Mm-hmm.
And then we bred a colored up Catahoula to the sister to that registered blackmouth cur female.
We got 1 red brindle, 2 reds, 2 yellows, 2 black and tans.
We had 7 altogether.
Yeah, so how many is that? Was that 5?
Something like
Yeah,
that.
6. And then
a couple brindle color ones.
Yeah, there was 1 red brindle.
Yeah.
Only 1 red brindle.
And so basically, out of all these litters, we've had 1 or 2 in them that are solid yellow with a black mask.
Yeah. And I thought I thought all 4 of them were yellow dogs at 1st,
Mhm.
and then they just started getting more and more and more red. And every day I go out
Well, they're going to change color for the next 6 months. But what I'm getting at is I'm going to take all those little yellow dogs, going by color, and I'm going to keep breeding those. Like you said, it's kind of like what Tanner's got. You know, you got a line of dogs that throws a yellow color. That doesn't mean that it's a blackmouth cur.
No, it's for sure not.
Even though these might look like a blackmouth
Yeah.
cur, these are gonna be my yellow dogs. And
Yeah. I think the reverse blackmouth curs look the coolest. I think those are some real intriguing looking ones.
yeah, well, they suck. I don't like them. But I've had one that was really good, and he's still hunting. Flo.
Now that was a weird dog.
Yep.
That was a weird dog.
So, but he was weird anyway. But no, like you said, and while we're talking about that, me and Nate were talking about like some terminology, the confusion factor in the hog hunting world. There's so many newcomers that we've had in the past few years, and I get asked all the time about, what does this mean? What does that mean? And all that stuff. What do you find that I know you get questions like that. What's the most asked questions you get about terminology? About what means what or whatever. Or give us a list of some terms and definitions.
Well, I mean,
the hog dogging world.
Yeah, I mean, nothing really comes to the front of my mind. I don't think I get a lot of those questions. I mean, I used to see a fair amount of confusion on stuff.
Okay.
I kind of, like on social media, I kind of got out of most all the hog hunting groups and stuff because it just got aggravating. But I used to see a bunch of it there. Like the terminology just wasn't correct. But I can't think of anything that comes to mind. But
okay, I didn't know. We've had a few ask us like about like bottom. Like, what is bottom in a dog? And they were like, well, that dog's got a lot of bottom. He'll go, a half a mile. I'm like, I don't think it's the same thing. That's.
Well, me and Ronnie were talking about that at carrier trials. And, oh yeah. And I need to scorn you guys for not being there.
I know.
But, so yeah, me and Ronnie were discussing that. And, I think he's right, but it's just a matter of semantics. Like the definition doesn't change. So like Ronnie was saying that the old guys he used to hunt with, see if I can get my head wrapped around. Like when we say that dog's got a lot of bottom, we mean he's got a lot of stick to it.
Yeah, he'll stay with it. Stick a track and stay with it.
Yeah, that's generally in this day and age, when we say bottom, that's what we mean.
Yeah.
But Ronnie was telling me that we've actually got it backwards.
Say he ain't got no bottom.
Well, no, so like,
right.
So Ronnie says that the old timers that he came up with, a dog's bottom. So like if you turn 4 dogs loose and one dog went out there a half mile and then came back, he would say that was that dog's bottom. A half mile is his bottom.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Where we kind of flip it 180 degrees, but it doesn't really matter because we're still talking about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We just saying it in a different manner.
It's just a different manner, really. Well, I mean, that's like I think you made a post and was talking about the lingo like some of the old timers use, like tushes.
Yeah.
Nobody says that anymore. You very seldom. Well, I hear it quite a bit here. And, from a lot of these old mountain folk, a lot of people from Appalachia.
Yeah, you don't hear it. I grew up hearing it.
Yeah, but I don't hear it as much.
And it also, I mean, but it's not 100% tied to wild pigs. I mean,
no.
Old bear hunters would talk about tush or a mountain lion, his tushes. Yeah, I mean that's one of those words that's like going by the wayside.
Yeah, I've been watching these damn documentaries. I don't know, at 3 o'clock in the morning on fucking YouTube or YouTube TV. YouTube TV is one of the greatest things ever.
It's amazing.
You watch it too?
It's all I want.
Like, okay, because you can find anything you want there. If I want to find Fred Bear shooting elephant with a recurve in 1942, I can watch that video.
Yeah,
and watch the entirety of it, all of it.
Yeah.
But I've been watching these documentaries on speech, terms, terminology, different parts of the world. I've seen some that were in the Southwest, somewhere in the Midwest, Mississippi Delta area, but the most colorful to me is probably the Appalachian language. Bunch of those old hillbillies, they say shit, and you're like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, grab me one too, mate. And so I sit back and I listen to a lot of the old timers that come in the store from time to time, or we see them at coon hunts. And man, it's a lot of these young guys, they don't know what they're missing. They need to just sit and talk to those guys, or just sit and listen to them. Don't talk to them, just listen. And you can learn so much stuff, man.
No, yeah.
Just, I wish we could have like this big hunt to where it's really like an old school, like the old, like where the red fern grows, one of those kind of coon hunts or hog hunt or whatever, or just a dog hunter's rendezvous where you could actually just pull up. They'd have, music. You could drink some liquor, some beer, get out there, get drunk, fist fight, run dogs, tell lies, chew tobacco, all that good stuff.
I mean, that's what we're trying to do with that Dog Hunters Expo.
That sounds like that. I mean,
we've kind of gotten away. I mean, obviously there's, ODHA's, we've put on some hog hunts before, some coon hunts and squirrel hunts.
Do you have a date on this at all, Ed?
Yeah, but it's going to be in the spring.
Okay.
We haven't. There's a committee working on it.
Gotcha.
But so we kind of, what I kind of hate about like the hog hunting tournament style, and it's something that we took into account when we started putting on hunts, is, you do the 2.5, 3-day hunt. It doesn't really build any community because everybody shows up to weigh and they're dog tired. And it's just weigh my hogs. If I get a buckle or some money, give it to me. I'm out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So we started doing just like a 24-hour hog hunt. And then we do like the same night, we'd have like a big coon contest and maybe like a squirrel morning. And then that way everybody comes back in the evening and they're not so damn tired, and everybody can sit around, and have these conversations and talk and meet friends and stuff. So that's probably what we're going to do. We're not going to do like a 3-day tournament this spring. If we do anything, if we do a hog hunting tournament, it'll probably just be like a 24-hour. We've also just done overnight, like biggest hog wins, where it starts at 6 p.m., weigh-ins at 6 a.m.
I've had a few guys ask about doing that here, just like we call it like a wildcat tournament.
Yeah.
Wildcat hunt or something like that. We used to do them a lot of bass fishing, and that's what it would be, just Friday night or Wednesday night. You go out there for 8 hours or 12 hours, whatever it is.
Because that was, not to dog on hog hunting tournaments, but they don't really build community. They kind of tear us apart.
Yes. Well, that's why we've done the virtual stuff, Ed. It's by the time you have hunted for 3 days straight, what you just said, you're dog ass tired. And if you know you haven't won anything, you don't even go to the weigh-in. You just go to bed.
Yeah. I've been there. I've done it.
Yeah. We if anybody that's hunted any tournaments, if they've hunted more than 2 or 3, they've probably done the same thing. And when the last 2 tournaments that we've done, of course ours is virtual, but just having the award ceremony and all that stuff, we did it the following weekend after the hunt was over. So that way,
That's
if
good.
people wanted to drive in, you could come in and hang out all day Saturday. We'd cook out, and keep in mind now that's all being virtual, so there's, that's a whole different ordeal. But like you said, I agree with you. Just the everyday average hog hunting tournament. I love hunting them, but it is tiresome.
Here's my idea for all. It's not totally mine. It's mine, and me and Seth Cobb came up with it one day when we was driving. I can't get anybody on board with it. Like, I think it's a great idea. Seth thinks it's a good idea, but nobody else I tell it to thinks it's a good idea. Okay, so it's a 24-hour hog hunt. So everybody shows up at wherever you're going to have it, and if you got a smoker, you drop it off. If you don't have one, we'll have a few that you can use. So then everybody goes hog hunting for 24 hours, and then you show up with one pig. The 2-part tournament. So big hog wins on the hog hunting side of it. The hog you check in,
Then we cook it.
You got 24 hours to cook it,
Jeez.
and then we on the cooking end of it.
Yeah.
So you don't want to go catch a big Rankin boar hog. It ain't gonna.
Yeah.
The goal is to win the biggest hog and win the side of it. If you can get trifecta, dufecta.
Is it like a specific cooking style, or can you just cook it anyway?
Like whole hog, or
any way you want.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
That's what he said. This is his idea for like a hog tournament.
I love it. My favorite part about hog hunting is eating it.
Yes.
And like you was talking about, like the big pigs and stuff like that. My favorite thing to do is make tacos out of them. I love making tacos. I've had real good luck with no boar tank carrying over.
Because that's what. Okay, so hog hunting originated. Our origin is from free range pigs, which were pigs meant for the table.
Mm-hmm.
So it pays homage to the old ways, and when you really get down to it, hunting is about eating.
Mm-hmm.
Hunting's not about piling a trailer load dead pigs, up and then dumping them in a ditch afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Hunting was about eating. I think we need to get back to that.
Yep. We catch a lot of shit from people about us trapping sometimes, but I will promise you this: less than in all the years that we've done this, I guarantee you there's been less than 10% of the hogs that were ever left. We've carried 90% or more, and we've done something with them. It might just be making dog food.
Yeah.
But they're not left to rot.
No,
we eat a lot of damn pork though.
That's the thing. Like, wild hogs are such a natural resource.
Yes.
And when people just look at them like they're rats, they're just the scourge of the earth. Just really.
You think it's the misinformation put out by the media? Like, they've got all these diseases, blah, blah, every wild animal can have a disease. Every wild animal.
Every tame animal.
Yeah, every person is a potential carrier.
Usually the only main concerns with wild hogs is the carryover diseases getting into cattle stock.
Yeah, but like
as far as in all my wildlife classes I took at college, there was like, they carry like.
But people aren't taught that though.
Yeah, they're not taught it, and it's kind of like a. What would I say? Like the CWD, it's like most deer die with it rather than from it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but it could spread, and in some cases it does. But in the case of an explosion of disease, oh yeah, big El Fucko, not good. But it's like these pigs, typically, very few people are ever going to get sick, and if they do, it's because they were just being dumbasses and like eating raw or undercooked pork or something, or like. Not properly handling it.
The sickest I've ever got from food was from tame pork undercooked. You don't undercook.
Yeah.
But a lot of the disinformation out there was spread by the American Pork Council, and they've done a great job of propagandizing.
Yes.
how nasty these wild hogs are. I mean, I deal with it all the time. Like, people are like, "You eat those?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I eat them." It's it's free range pork that's free. And
it's not $25 a pound.
and it has taste to it. Like I can't eat pork from the grocery store. It literally has
me
taste.
either. Zero taste. It tastes like you're eating some type of tasteless meat with water,
like diet pork
or something. Yeah, it sucks.
And that's pretty much what it is.
Yep. We try to, for a long time, and I don't know how it is where you guys are at. Can y'all bait like deer hunting and stuff? Can y'all?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they passed a baiting bill here a few years ago, and I'm gonna tell you now, if you ain't putting out corn, you ain't getting nothing coming in. So I got to noticing about 5 years ago, we started killing some hogs, and they had a pretty good little cap of fat on them. I was like, well, that's pretty nice. And now, nearly every pig we kill looks like it has been put on the floor and fed out for 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially by the time you get to end of deer season.
Hell
you get January.
Dude, they have helped us so much. Yeah. Thank you, God, for deer hunters and them feeders. Yes. Thank you.
Hey, I gotta go to the bathroom real fast.
Okay. Main issue I was getting at. Like I said, we've been doing it for a long time, and
it's just
the standard's not there. All the guys we were all so hard on each other when we first started about the quality of our dog and how hard our dogs were, and we had pride in that. And it went from that to just some of them were just trying to sell puppies.
Yeah. So me and Paul were talking this last time, a couple weeks ago there, and I think the first one was in 2012. I missed that one. I was there in 13, and then I missed last year because I was bear hunting. But
yeah,
and I owned a full jag, but I had so much respect for those dogs and for you guys that bred them. But I've noticed over the last few years that a lot of the hardcore guys have, I don't know if they've gotten out of jags or they're just not showing up. But
we still have them, but we just and we're still breeding them. Like I mean, and I say there's a group.
We're all realizing, hey, they're running out. Like with Monkey, Alvin texts me. He's like, her last living kid died last week. So I mean, after that, there's no more of his bloodline there.
Well, that come out of D stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, that dog's okay, but she bays. She bays pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, but for a 10-pound dog, I prefer to pay a pig.
She's small, but even at that rate, that's not what they were designed for. They were designed to go to ground. They were designed to go head-to-head combat. And no matter how you put it, no matter how you lay it out.
I thought they were designed to bay boar.
No, that's not what we're using for here.
I thought that was what the breed standard was. But
no, the breed standard is to yap on track and to do all these other things. We are in the United States. That's why we have the American Hunting Terrier Association, not the German.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we don't. I say we. I'm not.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. That's why we done that, because we changed the standard to fit our suit, to suit us.
That's what America's known for. Like, we take dogs, change them to suit us. We're not, like you said, we're not hunting in Germany. We're not hunting in Europe. They got to work where we're at for what we want to do with them.
And to be honest with you, a lot of it, we're just screwing them up in a lot of ways. But I have seen some. We've seen some very recent stuff, some very, very prominent German stuff, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's not what it would have been 20 years ago. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and there's kind of this mentality, and it's not just in that breed; it's in all different kinds of breeds.
Yep. There's
this mentality that the further away the dog comes, the better it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. That's crazy.
Years and years ago, I had a buddy here and I raised Catahoulas, and not. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I had some pretty good Catahoulas. And I tried to give this guy pups over and over and over, and he just lived like 2 miles from me. He wouldn't take them.
Huh.
But then one day he like jumps in his truck and drives to Southeast Texas and buys some Catahoulas.
Oh yeah.
And they were the most worthless. Like they couldn't hold a candle. But he just had this mindset that they came from far away. They're better. Like anything in my backyard is not good, but far away is better.
Oh yeah.
And,
It's crazy.
I'm like I said, I'm not a jack guy, but I've seen that people put these German dogs on a pedestal,
Yeah.
and I've seen thought, dude, you could have, grabbed a dog from any number of people here at Tyler, and they'd have been
way better. Yes, without a doubt. And now I have seen some of those imported dogs that show up, and you're like, holy shit, this is the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it should be. The last one that we went to, it was last year whenever you were bear hunting, when I carried that little pup I got from Jacob Zachary. I showed him a pig when he was 12 weeks old, and I showed him a little bitty pig, and he caught it right off the bat. I didn't mess with him anymore. All I did was blood trail with him, and because I wanted to keep him alive. So we went to the trials, showed him a pig out there. Didn't even show him one the night before, nothing. Showed him one the day they competed. He won the puppy bay, and then we put him in the adult class, and I think we wound up flipping for second place because his partner got his leg broke. And we're talking he was a little pup, and there were grown dogs in there that wouldn't even get close to what he was doing. And that's what Cody Fritz said. He said, that's the first one I've seen in a long time. And I didn't breed that dog by no means. That's from Jacob Zachary and William Burns stuff. I mean, those guys are carrying the torch. They're producing real deal jags here. And it's just hard to find anymore.
The thing about the jag, and over the years, I've watched a lot of hardcore guys like come to this realization. Look, jags are badass dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like I've never owned one, a full blood, but I admire them. They're not hog dogs. You're not going to make them hog dogs. I don't care what you do. If you breed them pure and stick to the standard, you are not going to have hog dogs. And I've seen so many guys put so much effort into trying to make them hog dogs. And
now they'll find hogs, like you said, they'll find hogs. And we have come close over the years to having some that were hog dogs. But there's always that one little thing somewhere, whether it be the casting ability or the consistency factor or the range or whether they want to start trashing bad.
Yeah, trashiness.
Yeah. That
right there, going to pass up a possum.
I don't think I've ever seen any that would not trash.
Or break a good solid bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If you're hunting with one, you're retarded. I can tell you that now. You're crazy. Don't hunt with just one. If you got a pack of cur dogs and you have a jag, that's a broke bay. That's a dead cur dogs.
Do they hunt hogs within Germany?
Yes.
And I could be wrong, but from my understanding, in Germany, in most of Europe, the way that their hog dogs, their quote hog dogs, are closer to our deer dogs. Like they just want them to run.
They walk them around. They have men that drive. They have the beaters, is what they call them.
But they're not baying.
Most of them are baying wounded hogs. You know what I mean? After they've shot them or something like that. And then generally by that time, there's several of them in a pack. That's on the hunts that I've seen and the ones from guys I've talked to.
My understanding from what I know, and I'm not an expert on it, but what I've seen from Europe is their hog dogs, like I said, are closer to what we consider deer dogs. But they're finding them they're pushing them into a run, and then you have shooters that
Yes.
shoot. They're not baying and catching like we are.
Not that I've seen. I know of a few guys that I've seen a few videos that were sent to me, and they were dog and knife. But that's generally not the way that goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you said, the general consensus is it's more like a deer drive, or, well, it'd be a deer drive be about the closest thing it is to it. Like you said,
Yeah.
they get in at one end, the dogs go in, they push them out to a shooter or on a stand. And here, like we were really blessed when we were running the Yog Terriers. We would take 4 dogs, 4 to 6, and I would have those as a pack of Jags. Most time it was 4 of them, and then I would have 2 bigger running catch dogs to dump to them. And not that these little ones, they could stop a really big hog, but most of the time they weren't going to bay if they were together. They were just going to bombard it, and then I had to hurry. It was chaos constantly, all the time. If you seen 4 dogs going toward the same area, you better start moving to that area really quick. And if they stop, it's not going to say, okay, they're treed. If they're treed, they're definitely caught and something's dying. You got to get there. And that's one reason why I went to the hide terriers with, I had the Airedales, the bull terrier, and then we started mixing them up. I tried to follow what the Germans were doing, came up with my own style, and it worked really good for us. It was like having a 50 to 60 pound Jag, and that worked.
Yeah, I messed with the Airedales for quite a few years.
Yeah.
Which and that's kind of what got me interested in the Jags is, not 100%, but a lot of it, like the Airedale was just like a really big Jag.
Mm-hmm.
But I've given that.
Yeah, it's hard to find a real good Airedale, a real gamey one. The same thing with the bull terriers.
Yeah, it's pretty tough
to find those that are. You know what I'm talking about when you see them like they're. When I say gamey, there's nothing that they won't hit. And you don't have to coax them into doing it. You ain't got to say, "Come on, puppy, come on, puppy." You ain't none of that shit.
I had a full blood Airedale that actually Monica brought him to me at Carrier years and years ago. And we used him as a lead-in dog.
Yeah,
and that dude was bad.
Yeah, they I've seen some that were scary, but they were so laid back and had a good demeanor.
Yeah,
like they weren't too psychotic. Like all the Jags that I've had, that especially that weren't Dixieland line. The Dixieland line, I don't know what Scott All's done with it, but it's something different. They're not psychotic when they're on the chain. They're not jumping around barking. They're not biting their chain. They're not chewing their own foot off. They're not tearing their dog houses up. They're just kind of chilled. But when you turn them loose, they go hunt. That's the dogs that we've hunted.
Yeah, there's something about little dogs that brings out the psychotic.
Yes, I agree.
Any breed.
I agree. We seen one we had this weekend. His name is Dagger, and he's so old. Like, he don't have no teeth or
He's
nothing.
got 2.5, 2.25 canines. It's just a little stub.
Yeah, I think
just
they're not full canines at all. They're all all of them are
his
broken.
top right one's full.
Does he have one full?
The bottom right one, the tip's nicked, and then the other bottom left one, he's got one little stop, but the top left one is
I know
gone.
he ain't got one. But dude, you should see how hard that dog is, though. Like the other day,
He don't give a
Saturday,
damn.
like he would catch on a 250-pound boar hog and literally be drug and slung and beat and bang, hit the ground, roll over and growl and just keep growling until he could get a bite.
If like talk to him, he's like, "Arr!" and then bite again.
People were laughing their ass off. But at the same time, it's like, you got to appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
Because their dogs that are 60 pounds, they don't have nowhere near that kind of grit.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. Those dogs aren't big enough. You know,
They're just, I mean, and it doesn't really come in. I don't think the size of the dog matters that much in hog hunting, as long as the dog isn't trying to physically stop a hog.
yeah,
But Jags want to try to physically stop.
That's exactly right.
And not big enough. Like,
you get one that'll bay, you get one that'll truly bay, you got a good dog. I mean, you can have a good all around. You can have a hog dog potentially if you've got a Yog Terrier that won't run deer, that won't trash, and that will actually bay a hog. Now we've had a couple over the years, and when I say a couple, I mean like 2 or 3 out of 100.
Well, like you've seen Seth Cobb's Bruno dog.
Yes.
You know, you put it. I mean, he hog hunted with us. I mean, we didn't let him run that dog, but at Tyler, you put him in the bay pen, and one day he might be a straight bay dog, like he could win at Downsville.
Yep.
And 45 minutes later, you put him in there, same size hog, everything's exactly the same, and he's just like straight catch dog.
Bull
like you
dog.
could never.
There's no consistency.
That dog could put on a show when he was in a mood to bay. Like he could.
Yeah. Oh, Bruno is a very nice dog. I've judged him quite a few times. I've ran with him a few times. I've handled him. I mean, that's nice. And there was a pile of dogs like that. Like you said, there's some dogs that most of mine was always real catchy, real bad to catch. Which, like I said, I ran a pack of them. So I mean, that's the only way I could figure out to make it work. I couldn't do it with 1 or 2. I was like, well, let's just throw a whole pack of them on the ground. We'll stop whatever's running. And it worked, you know. But at the same time, there's also other shit you got to deal with that. It's never just a real cool laid back. You can't sit on the tailgate and drink a cold beer while you cast the dogs.
Like Seth used to hog hunt with us, and I'd always, you know, in the beginning, I'm like, bring Bruno. And so what we do is after them cur dogs would go bay, we would turn bulldogs loose, and then I'd space it out where I knew the bulldogs were going to beat Bruno to the bay, and then I'd tell Seth, turn him loose. You know, maybe he'll help him catch, or he'll pick up a straggler coming out of the sounder, which worked a lot of times. You know.
Yeah.
One night we were out in the middle of this hay meadow, bayed this hog in the middle of this hay meadow, and it was a bad dude. And well, he killed 2 bulldogs. But when we got there, Bruno was caught, and I saw with my own eyes, like this hog had Bruno's whole mouth in his head, and this hog bit down, and I swear to God, I heard Bruno's skull crack. And I turned to Beth, and I was like, Bruno's dead. And we got this hog caught, and Bruno was fine.
Yeah.
We had 2 dead bulldogs, and I just knew, like, oh my God, he totally got his skull crushed.
Yeah.
And he did get it at least cracked, because I fucking heard it.
Yeah, no shit. And you know, that's the thing. Like, they're tough. When I say,
they're the most stoic of all stoic dogs. They do not care. They are not bothered. It's completely irrelevant.
And then when we started seeing these when we started seeing 1-year-old dogs, if a coon bit them, and I mean like a half-grown coon or a possum, they start screaming, or they try to run away from it. And I was like, guys, the breed program, something is wrong. We got to do something different.
And were you guys at that? I don't remember what year it was at Tyler, and we had a bunch of coons trapped, and Cody was like, let's wait till after dark. I think it was Friday night.
Yeah.
That was Saturday night. And he's like, let's wait till some of these other people leave to where it's us, and let's put coons in the bay pen and let dogs get them. Were you guys there?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they put that one coon in the pen, and I don't remember what dogs. You know, one dog at a time. They put a dog in there and they get whooped, and they drag that one out, put another one in, and this coon whooped 4 or 5 dogs.
Yep.
And then Hank Parton was like, "What was that dog he had?
Oh, I know. Oh,
What was his
that
name?
little red dog.
Something real mean."
Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about. Oh my God, what's that dog's name?
I'll remember it here in about 5 minutes. But Hank was like, "Let me go get so and so
Yeah.
Satan or what?"
Yeah, so, yeah.
Wasn't Satan.
I know what you're saying though. Damn, what's that dog's name?
Hank threw that dog in there, and that coon whooped its ass, and that coon climbed up on the dog's back and put his hands over the dog's eyes and was just like chewing on its back.
Yes.
And then, typical Cody fashion, Cody was like, "Hank, get your dog, get your dog." And
Yeah.
like Hank goes in there, and they separated the dog and the coon. And then Cody goes, Colby was there, and he had that Mongo dog.
Yep.
And Cody, I mean, he's a pit bull terrier, but Cody's like, "He's a terrier," or Colby's like, "He's a terrier. Let me put him in there." And Cody's like, he goes, "This coon's earned his freedom." And like everybody got back, and he threw open the gate to the bay pen, and that coon walked to the edge, and then he stood up on his hind legs and like looked at everybody.
Oh
like,
yeah.
I'm a bad motherfucker.
And he was. He was a bad motherfucker. I remember that. Yes.
And that coon didn't run. He just like walked to the woods.
He just walked to the woods. I think that was the same weekend that Hank got bit by a coon, and then the hog whooped his ass too. He was out there.
Is that the same when Lance got bit? The same year Lance got bit?
No, that was the year before Lance got bit.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think I went to that one.
No,
I think when Lance got bit real bad was the first year I went, or might have been the second trial.
That shit was so funny. Lance was holding that coon. He was like, "You better watch him." Lance was like, "I do this shit every day," and that fucking coon bit him. He looked. He said, "Shit, he's biting me." And that old coon just kept balling up, and he's like, "God dang, I can't get him off." Oh, Lance was shaking that son of a bitch. Looked like he had a damn booger on the end of his finger. He was flopping it around. He finally got it off. He said, "God damn, that thing bites hard." Everybody was looking at him. Was like, "Lance, what the hell, dude?" Oh, we told him we had a catch pole. Is what it was. We got a catch pole over here. He said, "I do this every day."
Hank's dog was named Evil.
Yes, that's it. Yep. I knew it was something demonic.
Yeah. I said Satan, but it was Evil.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
That was
pretty wild there. That hog kept coming around. It was the next day when we were doing the bay. There was one hog he would run and he would come over there to the right hand corner up close to the gate where you come in, where you got that little place where you can stand inside of it.
Yeah.
That hog kept coming right there, and we kept telling him, "Was like, Hank, watch that hog." He was like, "I ain't worried about that hog." I said, "Hank, watch that hog." He said, "I'll whoop that hog's ass." And dude, that hog shot down through there, and he went between the boards, and he got under Hank, flipped Hank up in the air, and just went to biting him. Hank was hollering and jumping around, doing some karate or some kind of martial arts shit. I don't know what it was. I was hollering, "Whoop his ass, Hank! Whoop his ass!" And I mean, it's all funny now, but it was funny then too. Ain't gonna lie. But that's what happens when you're friends with friends like that. That shit happened to me at Earl's year before last. I called my dog Chaos, and the son of a bitch wouldn't come to me. Every time I call that dog, he comes right to me, right to the gate. I'm not chasing no dog. I called him 4 times and he wouldn't come to me. I start walking out there. I think it was Charles Kep. He said, "Watch that hog." I said, "Fuck that hog." That son of a bitch come around that loop, and when I turned, I seen him coming, and my fat ass tried to, I guess I was going to jump. I don't know. But anyway, I wound up going in the air, but not by me, but by the hog. That son of a bitch threw me straight up in the air, and I came down on top of the damn gate on the side, landed just flat on my back in front of everybody. Like it was in the middle of the fucking 2-dog. I just laid flat on my back. I got up. I just kind of smiled and waved, act like I did it on purpose, walked out. I was thinking, I'm going to shoot this dog when I get done today. Some bitch. Oh my God. We had some good times doing that stuff.
Well, that's one cool thing about Rusty's Bay coming up. is that it's going to be old school. So like 20 plus years ago, you got bonus points if you could call your dog out. So most bays a long time ago, I don't remember exactly what it was, half a point, I think. It might have been, so you had X amount of seconds. I don't remember, 15 seconds or 20 seconds or 30 seconds, whatever it was. But if you could stand at the gate and call your dog and he would come to you, you got bonus points. So they're going to reinstall that at Rusty's, I think.
Yeah, I know it's what we were talking about. I think it was Pat. Pat and Rusty were talking about it.
Yeah, and there's not going to be pin help.
I like that part myself.
If you put your dog in there, and it's your responsibility to get him out.
Now, I was talking to a couple people this weekend about that as well, and there's one or two guys that are a little older, and that's what they asked. They said, it's not the fact that we're scared to get our dog or anything like that. It's just the fact that we can't move around quick enough. They said, well, what are we going to do in that case? I said, well, if you can't call your dog to you, and if the dog won't come to you and he won't get off the hog, I was like, I wouldn't suggest doing it. But you got to be able to have some handle, or you got to be physically capable of coming in there and doing it. If
you can't physically do it, then you just start working on your handle right now.
Yes, and that's exactly what I said. I said the only other way I see anything that could be done would be, okay, like you said, you got so many seconds to call your dog. Say you got 30 seconds to recall. If your dog doesn't come to you in 30 seconds, then you have 30 more seconds to catch your dog. Okay, so you have a full minute. If you can't do it in that time, then you get docked, and then pin help can come in and push the hog out. That way the show keeps moving.
Yeah, you could either be DQ'd or you could, take a docking point.
Yeah, that's the only way I see that we could, make that work. if it had to be instilled like that.
I think like I say, it's not my show, it's Rusty's show.
That's right.
But I think what he's trying to do is get hog baiting a little bit closer to hog hunting.
Yeah.
So like I'm 51 years old, and dude, I hog hunted at night by myself for a decade and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to go do it. I won't go do it today.
That's right.
So I think it's kind of trying to get closer back to that. Like, if you can't physically deal with the pig and your dog, or you can't call your dog, then I mean, not to be brash.
Maybe it's not for you.
Maybe it's not for you.
Hey, you could have a young guy handle your dog, or that's where being a mentor comes in.
Well, there's a lot of older guys that are like, that's why I hunt with young guys, so they can go in there and deal with the rough stuff.
I know some guys right now that'll tell you, and they have some of the best dogs in the country, and they don't put their hands on them dogs, or a hog, for that matter. You know what I mean? For the most part, they own the dogs. They coordinate the hunts. They do all that, but the young guys are the ones out there putting the boots on the ground and tying the hogs or sticking the hogs or doing whatever. But like you said, I don't think it's being harsh or brash, but I literally told a guy that this weekend. I was like, well, if you physically don't think you could do that, then there's a bunch of other stuff you could come help us do.
Yeah.
You can you can support it. You can show up. You can hang out with us, whatever.
Get somebody else to run your dog.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No big deal.
So I've been on both sides of that. So like when I was a kid, I hunted with old guys, and I was there, I did the dirty work.
Yep.
I had to catch the pigs. I had to drag the pigs. I had to catch the dog who got sprayed by a skunk and throw it in the dog box.
Yeah.
And then now I hunt with younger guys, and I kind of get to sit back and watch them do all that shit.
I know the feeling now. I guess last year before last, I guess I started getting back into handling more, because for so long I had Nate and there was always 2 or 3 of his buddies going, and we always had 1 or 2 other guys with us. Hell, I didn't have to do much if I had to do anything. But in the past couple of years, I've like, no, I need to be in there. I need to start doing it. That's when Nate would started videoing more, and he would video, and then, of course, I would be going in there handling the hog or whatever. And I'll be honest, I didn't realize how bad a shape I was in, but it's helped a lot. It keeps me going.
Yeah, but I handle my own dogs, but every once in a while I have to tell them boys I hunt with, like when we bay up, I want to leg this pig. Like, y'all stay back. Like, I want this one. But I have to say it because I can't beat them there.
That's right. That's what I'm saying, because they're not lazy. They're going in there knocking it out.
Yeah, I don't want to do it every time. And it's not. It's nice having them right there when things get western, but
mm-hmm. And like, back to what we said a while ago, that's the part of being a mentor that people need to see that aspect of it. It's like, if you've got a couple young guys around that you've helped get started, hell, you can go do these tournaments or these competitions because they can handle your dogs for you.
Yeah, I don't usually do the tournaments anymore, but I mean, usually they'll kind of guilt me into going along. So yeah. I won't enter, but they'll usually guilt at least sitting in the truck.
Yeah.
That's a young man's deal. I mean, we used to hunt them 2.5 day tournaments and literally not sleep one damn wink. I mean, maybe like 30 minutes in the truck here and there while the dogs are far out, but I can't do that anymore. Just can't do it.
No, it's definitely changed a lot. I've noticed, like, this weekend at the bay pen, man, it was like when it was like 2 hours after dark, I was like, man, I'm ready to go to the house. I used to, it was like, we're just getting started. I mean, we're fixing to start taking some shots if we hadn't already, and we're going to be drinking beer all night. And I was like, look, I'm ready just to go watch John Wayne.
I was hunting this tournament. It's been a decade ago. We was down in Texas, and one of the guys on the team was my age, and this guy just wouldn't stop. Like, I mean, he just kept going, and I was dragging ass. And we finished, and we was driving back to Oklahoma, and I mean, I'm just dog ass tired. And he was driving, and he pulled this bottle of pills out from the console and took 2 of these pills. And I was like, what is that? He's like, oh, it's just some medication I take. And I was like, well, no, what is that? And I grabbed the bottle, and I was like, dude, you're taking fucking diet pills.
Oh, hell.
That's speed. No shit.
Yeah.
You weren't. I was.
Yes. Was it the white ones with the little blue speckles on it?
I don't remember. Bird eggs.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Them some bitches, you can hunt for 2 days on them.
He goes, no, this is just for my weight. My doctor gave them to me. I was like, dude, that's speed.
Yeah, it's straight speed. It's amphetamines. Then Ed said, hey, give me 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know some guys that have hunted some of our tournaments, and we do the virtual one, and it started out, it's like we called it, it's a working man's tournament, because it starts on a Friday and goes all the way through the next Sunday, which means you don't have to hunt that whole time.
You got like 10 days.
You got 10 days to get the job done.
To get one big pig.
I know a few guys that hunted nonstop from day 1 to day 10.
Oh, God.
I'm talking about, boy, I'd be getting phone calls and FaceTimes at 3 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the evening. We done caught number 57. We done caught number 62. I was like, Jesus Christ, look, all we got to do is catch one big hog.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like they're just, you know what it is. I mean, they're wired up. They're wired to the gills.
I mean, that's the other thing I don't drive with on hog competition is that in Oklahoma, we we aren't blessed with pigs like Texas, you know.
Yeah.
So I just look at when there's a hog competition, I'm just like, they're just like thinning the woods out, you know. That's why I prefer like the one big hog or the short tournament, you know, where we're not like decimating our population so bad just so somebody can get a belt buckle. Dude, I'll give you a belt buckle if you just not kill 57 pigs.
Yeah. And see, we added the stringer deal to ours, and it's only in Texas.
I think we're going to take it away.
Yeah, I think we're going to stop that because, yeah, like what was it, 50 something?
62. This last one.
62.
It was.
I'm like, no.
49. The one before that. And
yeah,
62
I'm like, dude,
was the long stringer. I was like, oh, boy.
No, like we're going to take the
and that's just the videos I watched. They had more than that.
Yeah, they were sending
look, y'all
more
got it. Don't worry. I'm not watching any more videos. I'm tired.
Most of the time, even on that whole 10-day deal, I would say the average is probably 6 or 8.
Yeah.
You know, that would be the average for most teams. With the guys in South Texas, especially, you know, I would say probably South Texas, from, you know, San Antonio down, those dudes are knocking fucking 40 a day out.
Yeah.
And we don't have hogs like that. So I'm like you. I feel it makes you cringe a little bit, you know. Like if we walk up to a trap and if we've got 4 to 6 nice hogs in a trap, I'm like, I'm a little excited, but at the same time it gets me down a little bit because I'm like, well, now if there's not any big boar hogs in there, I'm perfectly fine. But when we walk up to a trap and there's 2 or 3 good boar hogs, and then there's 16 to 20 other hogs in it, I'm like, dude, I do not want to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't want to do that. But here we have to.
It's the same in Alabama as here.
Mm-hmm.
This way, in most parts of the country, not Texas. But so used to most of our hog tournaments were live weight, you know.
Yeah.
So you'd have buyers that would come in and buy the live hogs, and they would either go to butcher, or they would go to game farms, or they get kicked back loose somewhere. But like outside of Texas, now it's so hard to have a live hog tournament. They're almost all, you know, dead hogs.
Oh yeah, and I don't know why.
Well, it's just because of the laws. You know, I mean, like we could do a live tournament in Oklahoma, but nobody would sign up because it's such a legal nightmare to do it, you know.
Oh, okay. So what are y'all stipulations on like having live hogs, transporting and stuff?
You have to have a transport license, which doesn't cost anything. You just gotta basically give your name to the state, and then if we catch a hog and we want to transport it live, we have to call an 800 number and give a description of it. It's just a report, but description of the pig, and then we can only transport it. We have to say where we're transporting it to, and it has to be to a licensed hog handling facility.
Okay, I got you. That's kind of the way. I guess Georgia's like that. Mississippi was like that. I think Louisiana's about the same way.
Yeah, but you know, it's like putting your name on a radar screen. Nobody wants to do it.
No, I'll be honest with you. If we could do that here, I would probably do it because I've become so accustomed to following the rules now that I really don't do anything. So it's like, hey, if they want to see it, they can come see it, you know. But at the same time, I get it. Nobody wants to put your name on a list and be like, hey, here's the address to my house where I keep my hogs. Y'all come by and check it out.
Yeah.
Nobody.
And you have to have it's free to get a transport, but to have a handling facility where you can actually keep them at your house, you have to. I don't remember how much it is, a couple $100 a year, but you have to get inspected, and then you have to log book, and you have to account for every pig and where it goes.
Yeah,
and nobody. Yeah,
if somebody calls in on you, whether it's true or not, they can screw your whole thing up.
Yeah, and people just don't want that, so nobody does.
Yeah, I get it. Like I said, I really do. It'd be nice if we could have a little more freedom on that in a way. It's hard for us to train dogs except in the woods. That's the only training we can do. Which it does make pretty good dogs in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice when the dog is young to be able to control the size of pig.
Yeah.
When you're allowed to keep pigs, it's nice to be able to have a young dog and be like, well, I'm going to put this dog on a 10-pound boar hog with no teeth. That's nice. In the woods, you don't have that option.
No, and that's what happened with those pups I was talking about earlier. They went out there and got on a whole sounder. Now, true enough, they got on pigs and they got a good race going, but we didn't finish the race. We didn't get to kill a pig, or they didn't get to bay one, or we didn't get to catch one, whatever you want to say. Because we had no control over all the other part that was going. If we could have had one that was 50 pounds or 100 pounds for them to do a mock hunt with, where they could have went and found it, did a little baying, because they've never actually bayed one. They would know what to do then, Doesn't mean that it'll make them great by no means, but it gives them a little bit of exposure.
I mean, the mock hunt is the best tool we've got.
I think so. Now, in that situation, I wanted to ask you a question. I know we've been on here a pretty good while already, but I wanted to ask you a question on this. I did something, it's more for validation, I guess you'd say, to see if I'd done the right thing. We had a couple of pups that I was talking about that found those hogs, and they took off. They followed, they broke it up. They took off on a race and left. Well, we had two other pups that were out there in the same area, but they missed the trip. They didn't go. So they kept milling around there. And they stayed down, and we give them plenty of time to try to figure it out, to see what they were going to do. They never would leave there. They stayed within probably 50 yards of that area, maybe 100 max. And so I told Rodney, I was like, look, let's go get them, put them back in the box. And, he was wanting to kind of leave them out longer, and we had done left them out a pretty good while. So I was just thinking, like I said, it's not, I want to be able I want to do the right things on these dogs. And so every time that I've done something like that, if we get a dog that goes out and he's out there dicking around, if he's not hunting, I'll get him and put him back up. And then I'll cast him with the other dogs, the next time. Kind of resetting them. But I didn't know if it was better to put them up like that or just leave them out longer and see if they can figure it out. But they've been out for an hour.
If they've been out for an hour, I would probably put them up before then.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was probably close to an hour, wasn't it? It was 30 minutes bare minimum, probably closer 45 to an hour.
Yeah, I mean, you need to give them a chance to get with the program.
Yeah.
And
they don't know what a pig is either. They seen one in a trap in April, and they were like 4 months old then. You know what I mean? Like it's aggravating in training.
I think the important thing to think of is that even with older dogs, like every time you turn a dog out, whether you know it or not, you're doing training.
Mm-hmm.
So if you let those pups just like waller around and dick around out there, for 2 hours, is that what you want to happen in the future? Like, if that's not what you want to happen in the future, you need to stop that.
Yes. That's what I was looking at. And like I said, now I have seen it the other way. I've seen the same scenario about 2 years ago, and I think that's one reason why Rodney was doing that, because I think he did it with BB and Little Red, and they just stayed out so long. Finally, they went on out, but it was like hours.
But I mean, at that point, there's not going to be success at the end of that.
Exactly.
Right? If it took them 2 hours to pick up the track and then trail it,
they're not doing it.
They're not going.
And so
they're not going to bay the pig, you know?
No. And that's what I was thinking then. I was like, well, here, my thinking was, well, we got these other ones running and we've lost them on communication. If they get over there and they get it stopped for 3 minutes and we're not there, then we're missing that opportunity because we've got these other ones over here dicking off.
I mean, sometimes you do have to, you know, especially with puppies, sometimes you got to miss the opportunity to catch a pig to make good dogs. I mean, yeah, I mean, you just have to make a judgment call. But I mean, I typically, if a dog is screwing around, put him in the box.
Yeah, I got you.
I mean, that's my take.
Yeah, and I know you do a lot of you raise a lot of cast dogs, and I've made a few of them over my time, but the general consensus of what we done is more run and catch dogs, real rough dogs. Some of them cast really good, but it was because they weren't dry casting. You know, we put them in decent enough sign where they would get out, and they might take that track for a mile. You know, to me, that's not necessarily casting. That's running a track. You know.
Well, I mean, that's how you're going to start, even like long range free cast dogs. That's how you don't start free cast dogs by free casting puppies. Like, that's not going to work. Like, you cast them into sign that gets them going.
That's right. You got to have something for them to run.
Yeah. And then after you do that a few times or multiple times, then in theory, you end up with dogs that will cast deep on a free cast. But yeah, you don't start free cast pups by free casting them in the middle of the desert, you know?
Exactly. That's why I said it was more for like just some validation on that to make sure I wasn't going down the wrong road. You know, that's why I brought that up. That's why I asked you that. Because like I said, I know you got a big expanse of knowledge on that.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I mean, you just got to think. I think to train a dog, you have to kind of try to get in the mindset of the dog. And you got to think about everything that you do and how that's going to be translated by the dog, you know? So, like, especially with puppies, like when you kick them loose and they're just dicking around the truck, don't let them do that. Like, load them up and put them in the box. And even if the mother dog's bay, like, don't turn them out to that. Make them sit in that box and miss out on all that fun. I mean, you don't have to be an expert at anything. I just think you have to think about how a dog is going to perceive what's going on and constantly think about that. And it's just logic, I think.
Yeah. That's the way I kind of dialed it down to that was, you know, basically just logic. It's like, you know, do I want these dogs out here trying to work a track for 4 hours and hopefully picking it up? Or do I want to go somewhere where I can put them to where they'll take a track and run it and we have it done in 4 hours?
Yeah. You know, and vice versa, you know, as the dogs get a little bit older and get a little more experience, then yeah, we want to drop them in places that aren't so easy.
That's
and
right.
make them work for it. We don't just want to throw them gimmies their whole life or their whole like learning life.
But
so it's all about
their first couple of tracks need to be a little easier if we can help it though.
The first track is so important. Like, man, if you can, the first time you take a pup to the woods, if you can get that pup on pigs, it doesn't have to bay pigs, but if you can just get it running pigs and you know, quote, on pigs that first hunt, if you can do that, you are so far ahead of the curve. But if that first hunt is dry and just, you know, stale and no good, like, it's an uphill battle. That's where our homework comes in. Like, do things right. That first time, I want everything to be perfect for them dogs. A perfect opportunity. Doesn't mean the dog does perfect, but I want to set them in like a perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
Like lots of times with you know, first time dogs, like I say first time dogs, we're going to have mock hunted them a time or two before. Usually 1 to 2 times. That's it. But that first time, we're going to try to put them on a feeder that we have cell cameras on, and we know like there are pigs right there right now, or they just left 5 minutes ago. And you just got to get in the mindset where you don't rush that. Like if you got a first time dog and everything doesn't look right, leave them in the box. Consider it. You know, sometimes that first time you take the dog to the woods, you might stay in the box the whole time. You don't turn him loose. You don't have to turn him loose the first time.
That's right. Yep. We did that last year with M&M, but it was exactly kind of opposite what you're talking about though. We had the dog out, the young dog. We knew the pigs were there or had recently been there. Turn him loose. He strikes the pig. He runs the pigs. Now keep in mind, in the dog box, we've got 4, I guess if you call finished dogs, that's what they would be. They're in the box. But I was like, we're not turning none loose. He's got to do it by himself. Let's see where he's at mentally. And he went down there and bayed the hogs. Well, they broke. We got in close enough to break them. He stayed with them for 3 hours, and they broke several different times. That was just something I was doing to see where the dog was at. It was like, is he going to stick with this? Is he strong enough to be a solo dog or what? Because he had showed so much already. And boy, old Rodney would say, he was like, why don't we turn the dog loose? I was like, because we're not catching the hog. We're just messing with the dog right now. We're not catching the hog.
Yeah.
You know, that was the most important thing to me. It was like, it ain't nothing to do with catching the hog. It's just about getting this dog to run this damn track.
I mean, a lot of times when you're starting puppies, I mean, that's a mindset that's hard to get out of. But I kind of try to tell myself, like, no, we're probably not going to catch a pig tonight. But that's, if we do, great, you know, amazing. But that's not the ultimate goal of tonight. Yeah,
I don't know. I guess it's after a certain point that you've been doing it so long, it's like the pig catching the hog becomes less about that. You know?
Well, yeah, but even more when you're starting puppies, like you have to give them.
Yeah.
I mean, we usually start puppies with older dogs.
Mm-hmm.
But then there comes a point where you're like, okay. And a lot of times what we have to do is me and Tanner will be talking before we go. And we'll be like, don't show up at my house with them old dogs. Like they stay at home.
Yep.
Because if you bring them, too tempting to turn them loose.
Exactly.
Like we're just hunting young dogs tonight, and we're probably not going to see a pig, and it doesn't matter, you know. Yeah. But I think that's a big hurdle. Is you've got to get it out of your own mind, like, you know, we're not going to catch tonight, probably.
It's just like you might as well get over it. We're just training. We did that a couple of weeks ago. We was like, well, we're going to go train tonight. We did have one older dog with us, but like it was just like, you know, we don't have to let her go. We don't have to do nothing.
Well, I mean, you can. An old dog is obviously, I mean, if you've got a good straight older hog dog that can run and bait a pig, by God, start them young dogs with that dog. You know. Yes. That's a no-brainer.
And seeing that last weekend I was talking about, those young dogs stayed with her till they got to that point. And then, like I said, the other young dogs went with her. 2 young dogs stayed in that one area. Those are the 2 I was like, we got to put them back up.
Well, yeah, I mean, so you do that a few times, and that's great for that young dog. But there comes a time pretty quick where you go, we have to make this dog do it on its own because I don't just want some Me Too puppies, you know?
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's what I was doing when I was talking about leaving the old dogs in the box and running M&M. And because it was like we didn't want a bunch of Me Too dogs. I've got a bunch of those. You know, those are pretty easy to come by.
Yeah, you can go to the pound and get a bunch of them. I got a bunch of them out here.
Yeah, I've got some. But I'll tell you one thing we did do. I pushed him by himself a lot, and it's Nathan's dog. And it was me. I was telling Nate, it's like, let's try this, let's try that, you know. and he listened to everything I was wanting to do with him. And I will say, you can take him by himself, and you'll do better. I mean, just a one out dog, you'll
Dog
do
is
better.
a dickhead.
He is a dickhead. If there's other dogs, he might show out and just be the best you've ever seen. Then again, he might just look at you and be like, "I'm not going nowhere."
But he's 2 years old, so.
But by himself, he will. I promise
Oh
you.
yeah, by himself.
By himself, he's going to go every time.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll be ready when he's about 4.
Yeah.
Me and him, one day, there's my sweet little baby child. He listens to everything. And then, like today, I was trying to get him just to stay in the shed. And he didn't want to go in the shed for whatever reason. And so I was like, come here, Eminem. And then he's going to hide under the car. And then when Dad pulled in the driveway, I was chasing him across the yard with a broom. Because for whatever reason, I wasn't mad at him or nothing, but like I was like, come here. And he was just like running away from me. I was like, why are you what's wrong? You're not in trouble, buddy. And he's like going hiding under the car. And he get like right by me and take off running again. I was like, you can close the door, son. What are you doing? Like,
he's a dog.
You can sit, stay, roll over. And today, like in this one moment, you're like, no, I'm not doing it.
Yep. It's because he's a dog. Well, he's a pet as well.
2-year-old dog is the most motivating dog in the world.
Yeah.
I can attest to that.
You got like a 2-year-old dog is about like a 15-year-old boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I told him. Like this first man at the end of last summer, that dog was smoking every grown dog we ever had. And then when we started out this year, started out pretty good first couple hunts. And then after that, it was like he didn't know what he was doing. I told Nate, I was like, he's just a teenager. It's okay. Nate was like, I don't know what the hell's wrong with him. I said, I'm telling you, he's a teenager. That's all that's wrong with him. And by God, they have been it all year.
Yeah, male dogs are the worst about it.
Yes.
Too.
Yes.
Yep. I'll be glad when this one's over with. We got him bred up a time or two, so maybe that'll help him a little bit. I don't know. Might make him worse. It made me crazier when I was that young and got bred.
Yeah, might make him worse.
Yeah. But he's been a pretty good dog though. Like I said, and we got quite a few young dogs now, and they all come from good dry casting dogs. So we're hoping that these pups right here will make some. I would like to be 3/4 of a mile to a mile, and that's plenty for me. You know,
yeah.
I don't know. I know some people that want, just endless, but that's really probably more than what we need. I'd rather have too much than not enough.
Yeah, we've been dialing our dogs back for quite a few years.
So what do you think is about the perfect for y'all, perfect casting range?
I mean, for exactly where we're at, in the properties we hunt, a 1/2 mile to 3/4.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just for us. I mean, it depends on,
Yeah.
I mean, 8 years ago, a dog that would go unlimited,
Yeah, that's what we were the same way. Go.
What we needed. But yeah, I mean, we're all getting older and it's aggravating. And
Mm-hmm. Well, our properties are getting smaller too, man. Like a good sized property here now is 2,000 acres. That's pretty good sized property. We're used to, man, 2,000 acres. I probably wouldn't even hunt it. It would be hard for me to hunt it because of the dogs we had.
Yeah, I mean, 2,000's pretty big here.
Yeah.
And we pretty much won't hunt anything under a section.
Yeah.
660 or 660 or 40, either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's a problem. It's nationwide. Everything's just getting smaller and smaller.
I think if you had, like where we live at, I think if you had a 1/2 mile, I mean, you could do anything you wanted to do because we've got enough access that, you can move. And there's a lot of people, they don't want to move. They want to park in one spot and hunt the whole section. And that's fine. If you've got the land to do it and you got the dog power to do it. But like I said, some of the places that we're at, I think if we had consistently 1/2 mile dogs, and most of ours, they're a little more than that. Most of ours are about 3/4 of a mile. and we hunt about everything that we want to.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, so like getting a dog to go, 500 yards
Mm-hmm.
is fairly tough. But once you get them past that point, it's hard to put a limit on them. That first 500 yards is tough, but from 500 yards to 3 miles, it's not very tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you get a dog that'll go 500, it's pretty hard to get them to stay.
That's right.
That general range. Usually it's either 4 miles or they're at your feet.
Yes. That's right. 100%. I know a lot of guys are like, man, my dogs, they don't go but 700 or 800 yards. I'm like, well, are y'all catching hogs? They're like, oh, yeah. I was like, well, that's as far as they need to go.
Yeah. So, I mean,
they'll probably go further if there's no hogs.
There's a big misconception that, like, it kind of goes back to what I was talking about, like the guys going and buying dogs.
Yeah.
The further the way they are, the better. Kind of the same thing with the dog's range. Like, there's people who think, well, my dog went 2 miles and just fucked off for 4 hours. He's better than your dog. Well, just because he's further away doesn't mean he's better,
Yeah, exactly.
There's no hierarchy to range. It's what works for you and what you need. And there's kind of this stigma that, like, long range dogs are best.
Yeah, and that's, like you said, that's not necessarily true at all. I know some guys in Florida, South Carolina, and certain places of Georgia, if their dog goes 800 yards, they'll probably cull that dog because it's too far.
Probably went past pigs.
Yes, exactly. And that's what they're saying. They're like, if that dog goes 200 yards and we have not caught a pig or jumped a pig or run a pig, then there's something wrong. And I was like, damn.
Like in the competition coon hunting world, they bred dogs to just, like, you turn them loose and they run a mile.
Yes.
And then after they're done running a mile, then they start hunting for a coon.
Mm-hmm.
But they passed 15 coons in that first mile.
Yep.
And, I mean, just because they're a long ways away from you doesn't make them better.
I agree. Like you said, that I know a bunch of coon hunters, and they talk about those dogs that do that. First time we ever seen one, me and Nathan went coon hunting with some guys, and this dog, when he opened the box, it started screaming. And I'm talking about bawling on track. And when he put him on the ground, he never stopped bawling and he never stopped running. And that son of a gun was a mile deep. And we had a coon tree at 38 yards. Yeah. Remember that when up over PJ&M? We had the coon tree right there beside the road. Mm-hmm. And that competition dog was a mile deep. And that ragged-ass black and tan was right there by the road treeing.
And that dog was probably slick treed a mile from the truck.
Yes. And I was like, ain't no way. I could never do that. No possible way.
But I mean, they bred and trained them dogs to do that.
Yep.
For points. They try to get away from the other dogs. But yeah, that's just a miserable way to hunt. Like, I want to catch game that's closer if it's possible.
Oh yeah.
Why do I want to walk or drive? Not necessary.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me when they do that. None at all. So, none at all. What time we got here? Damn, man, we had 2 hours and 40 minutes, bro.
Yeah, my battery's about to die on my phone.
I was looking at it. I was sitting there thinking, I was like, we've been rolling on it for a long time, and we've talked some good stuff here. We'll go over some of the stuff like the Dog Hunters Expo. Make sure you keep us updated on that.
Yeah, as soon as we get a date.
Yes.
Everywhere.
And then we've got the Woods event at Rusty's, February the 8th and 9th, somewhere in that area. I think that's when it is. I'll get the dates for sure, and we'll put them up. You'll have them in Tusker's magazine, maybe, won't you?
I'm sure we will.
Whenever he puts them out. Okay.
I can't remember the exact dates, but I know it's in February.
Yeah. We'll try to get some rules locked down on that so we can show everybody too.
Are you judging that?
I'm on the board.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about all that judging stuff. Ed's gonna judge it.
I thought it was going to be the Uncle Trio. Uncle Ed, Uncle Joey, and Uncle Pat.
I don't know, but I don't, dude. We would get shot or shoot somebody.
Me and Rusty won't let that happen.
I guarantee you.
Hey,
you had all three of us.
At the last bay pen, Dad got in an argument with another guy.
I didn't get an argument. He started arguing with me.
Whatever. Anyways, don't worry. Me and Carter was over there with our pocket knives switched out, and one of the Oklahoma boys said, "What are you gonna do?" I said, "Well, if he gets on my old man, I'm gonna stab him in the ass." They was
He
like,
wasn't
"Oh,
talking about the other guy. He's gonna stab me in the ass.
no, I was gonna stab the other guy." I was like, "I ain't gonna let him beat on my dad." I was like, "I ain't gonna hurt him." I said, "He'll just every time he sits down for the next month, he'll think about it."
Yeah.
You can let Dad, and just can't go too far.
Yeah, I'm gonna punch each other in the face. Y'all are adults.
I can handle it.
Oh, I know.
Bit, but I don't. But anyway, like I said, I don't know nothing about the judging part. There's been some talk about Ed Barnes judging this thing. I don't think we need a bunch of judges. I really don't. I think probably just Ed. That way you can put all the bullshit on one person. It's way easier. Do what?
I think we need at least 2.
Shit.
I mean, we can point fingers at that point.
Yeah, at least you can be like, he did it. He did it. We let, hey, Pat will be all about it. Pat will be over there bouncing up and down. You need to shoot that son of a bitching dog, boy. He said, I got a damn coon dog that'll be a hog. Like people, I know people talk shit on Pat, but I guarantee you that son of a bitch has got a dog that'll put some meat on the tailgate. Don't know what kind of meat, but it's gonna be some meat.
Yeah.
And it might not be his dog. It might not be on his land.
Yeah, everybody should come. Rusty's. It'll be at the very least. It'll be entertaining. I promise.
Yes, it'll be so.
It'll be a good time.
And Rusty's got plenty of room out there. Which I mean, all the places we go, they got plenty of room. But Oklahoma is beautiful. I mean, it's like it literally is. You get out there right at dusk with the sun setting. It is. I ain't trying to sound cheesy or corny, but it is beautiful. February is going to be real nice because last time I was there, it was hot as fuck. I mean, bad hot.
It's going to be cold this time.
That's fine. We can build a fire. We can drink a little moonshine and stand around that fire and talk about shit, lie, whatever.
Yeah, if you're coming, bring you some kind of windbreak. It's going to be windy out there.
Yeah, it'll be windy.
Southern Plains.
That's right. And are you going to have the big black pot there? You going to cook?
Yeah, if you'll bring some meat to put in it.
Well, there's plenty of shit standing on the side of the road between here and Oklahoma. It'll be fresh.
Wouldn't be the first time.
No, hell no. We call Cody Fritz. He'll bring us a possum or a coon or something on the way.
Yeah, we'll have the pot going.
Now we'll do a potluck then. All right,
Yeah.
buddy. Well, man, we'll let you get off here. Like I said, I know your battery's about to die, and hell, I'm about to die too. Damn, my throat's about wore out. So we appreciate your time. Thanks for talking with us. And, if you need us for anything, just give us a holler.
Yeah, it's a good time.
All right, buddy. We appreciate you, Ed.
Okay, we'll see y'all
All
later.
right, see
Thank
you,
you,
man.
Mr. Ed.
Bye.
All right. Man, I could talk about, just sit and talk dogs and shit like that with him. Fucking 10 hours, man. He's wealth of knowledge. Like I said, some of the stuff I ask is just for validation because, I know this stuff has worked. Been a long time since I've done it. Just want to check, make sure Ed's got good stock.
There we go.
So, all y'all listeners out there in the hog dog world, we appreciate y'all listening. Y'all keep following us, trying to get this podcast to grow. And we can't grow without y'all support. And we appreciate all the support that y'all have given us so far. So y'all just continue to do that. And make sure to check out our social media pages. Just the Dixie Dogger stuff. YouTube, Instagram, and all that good shit. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, subscribe to it. If you don't download these episodes off Spotify, make sure you hit the download deal. Do all that. That helps us grow. And that helps us to be able to do this and talk more shit and bring more shit out there to you guys. So that way you don't just think we're just all the time full of shit, even though we are. And we're also trying to get Nathan to talk more on this damn thing.
I'm trying, guys. I'm trying.
He did good tonight.
I tried.
He did good tonight. He's never been one to just jump out there and say a whole lot, but we're getting to where we're going to start doing some back and forth questions to some of these guests. And like he had a good concept about it. It's like he doesn't know what I'm going to ask, and I don't know what he's going to ask. And tonight I literally asked Ed what his favorite breed, and I was like, well, then what would be your worst? And Nate has it wrote down. I couldn't see what you wrote down.
Yeah.
You had it over there. I was right, and I didn't even write that stuff down. I was like, well, what's your favorite breed?
I found it funny because I was like, everybody talks about like what their most favorite is. I was like, I've never asked anybody what the one they despise the most is. And I know Ed's got an opinion.
Yeah. And you know, I thought it was kind of weird because like even myself with the whole yellow dog thing, it's not yellow dogs, it's black mouth curs. For so long, you remember how I was like, nope. Catahoodles was probably worse. I probably should have went with that.
I think that is my least favorite, and that sounds hilarious because M&M's and Catahoula. Yeah. I just typically don't like their personalities. We just don't
Most
jive.
Of them are weird, yeah.
99% of the time, I don't jive with them.
All right, y'all. Without further ado, we are gone for the day. I'm wore out, and we out this mother.
Thank you.
Later.
Hope y'all enjoyed that episode. Stay tuned for our new episodes every Monday and Wednesday. For questions, advertising, or just to chat, email DixieDoggers01@gmail.com.